Please stand by for Democracy 2024 special BRN election coverage. Please stand by for Democracy 2024 special BRN election coverage. Please stand by for Democracy 2024 special BRN election coverage. Please stand by for Democracy 2024 special BRN election coverage. Please stand by for Democracy 2024 special BRN election coverage. Please stand by for Democracy 2024 special BRN election coverage.
Welcome. It is officially 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. A little bit of a curveball we've been dealt with our election coverage as we are live on Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook, and Twitch. So let me running 5 deep like we always are.
Yes, we are.
I got Fox News pulled up. I got for one side.
I mean, it's already over, though, Bubba. I mean, we saw Kentucky's reporting. It's for Trump. We saw Indiana's going for Trump. I mean, let's just call it right now.
So here we'll
Alabama's too.
As each state is called right now, you see 19 electoral votes for the former president, 3 for the vice president.
It's over.
And we are going to be following all of this throughout the night. And also on the bottom of the screen,
look
you can
at
see
Florida.
these races
Look at
as we
Florida.
get the raw vote total.
4% in for Florida.
Very soon. But let's turn
fuck
to the
Rick
Senate
Scott.
for a moment, because this is another big story.
Yeah.
Control
Fuck
of
Rick
the United
Scott.
States Senate. Democrats have
Listen, we have a little bit of a curveball. One Dr. Diaco is I'm assuming on his way. I changed it from 8 till 7. I think that was a good call from you, Seth. Seth, you now have to put on a little bit more of an important cap tonight.
Do I?
Due to the fact that you are going to be our sole liberal here today.
Fuck, I've been exposed.
You did wear the right color shirt. You did dress up for the occasion, but it's looking like that we potentially will not have Babyface. Which
well, he thinks Trump's going to win anyway, right?
Of course he voted for him.
But we got a tech. We all got a group text at about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
I think it was later.
No, I was on the road on the way here, so about 5-ish, 5:30.
That he's in the emergency room. Now let me. Oh, hold on. This is a Florida report.
Okay,
here.
all right, we got a Florida gimmick.
Punch around and see a little bit of what we're getting here.
This is Florida.
We know the turnout was big. We know Republicans, based on some of the early voting and the voting
Look
today,
at Jacksonville blue.
Was pretty decent here. But 8% of the statewide
Duval's big
votes.
time.
This is Duval County, Jacksonville. I haven't seen this yet. Just go ahead and so you got about 2/3 of the vote coming in Florida right now. Florida counts fast, by the way. Like the early votes.
Florida does, man.
Rack it up. And so right here in Duval County, you got Kamala Harris leading by a point. I tell you what.
That's Duval County. Why don't you give us a complete Florida snapshot there, Dildo?
He literally has 3 counties highlighted, but there's about
FDR, the late
112.
1800s. We've got a candidate on the ballot where you can compare the number from 4 years ago and compare the number from 8 years ago. So we're going to do this a lot throughout the night. We'll get a measure.
All right, well, give us a total number.
Show us your dick, or it's going to be a long night, buddy.
Show us your cock.
Really?
So let's go back 8 years now.
Small.
Just
No,
watch
let's
his
not
number
go
here
back.
with 2/3 of the vote reporting in Florida. This is a one.
But a 66% in.
All right, here we go. Trump was just shy of
they're going
50
back to
against Hillary
16.
Clinton in that county.
Yeah, they're scrambling around for more polls to come
A
in.
little less than that, about 2.5 shy of the midway
They're
mark
scrambling
and
around for
overall Duval. So he's doing right about the same number he did with Joe Biden 4
All right,
years
give
ago.
us-
So let's look at Volusia County.
Volusia.
Okay, you got a little more of the vote in here. Trump easily at nearly 60% of
People want to see the entire state. They don't want Flagler County. They don't want bullshit. They want, and supposedly, Lummy, 66%, I think. Here we go.
We're just getting a flavor right now of
Right
perhaps
now they're called.
suburban voters.
So with it looks
Harris,
like with
and then what the rural vote's doing. And what I did
what
was
they're doing
I want
with
to pick
Florida
out
is
two
that's the only
places
ones
here.
that have turned it
Because
in
there's a
so far.
county just north of Indianapolis. This is Hamilton County. Population of 360,000.
That's the only county that Trump will win, period. It's where all the blacks from Indianapolis live.
0.8 now. There's more vote out there. Indiana counts
guy's
the
kind of
Maryland
a bitch
ballots
compared
first.
to John
so let's
King.
do the same
I need to go.
exercise,
You think I need to go over to CNN?
Well, I mean,
here.
nobody breaks the
And
counties
now it
down
gives
like
us
John
a direct
King.
comparison for 8 years ago against
guy's like
Hillary Clinton.
Babyface.
This is the weakness in the Trump campaign, right? 8 years ago, he was just shy of 57% in the same county. And then 4 years ago, got slightly weaker, okay? Down about.
Jesus Christ. Who cares about some county east of Fort Wayne? Just give it to us all.
So we'll see how it goes. But right now, a little weaker there in that suburb just north of
Did we give the
Indianapolis.
They're already calling. Why subsect Indiana when they're already calling Indiana for Trump? They've called 2 states, Kentucky and Indiana. Why are we fiddle fucking around and going
Wyatt
into
Harris, $40.
No, thank you.
Percentage of the vote
Chop it up
is
spice,
big
$10.
at 77%. So let's do the same exercise again. Go back to 2016. The
Fucking
percentage of the vote, okay,
Killing my
it was
high.
lower. 4 years ago in 2020, same county now, right around 75%. And as of tonight, okay, By the way, raw vote, 93-76. Hold on to that
likes
number,
Republicans.
okay?
Get the
It's
fuck
important
out of here.
because he's
No
doing
way.
better on a percentage basis, but the raw vote doesn't help him a ton. That may suggest, as we pop around the map throughout the night, that the turnout for this vote
sucks.
He does.
could be lower than 2020. That's a COVID year, a pandemic year.
He's
a lot
not
of people
hot.
vote
He
by
doesn't have
now.
any
It's
nobody-
sad
it's
to
not
see
gonna
whether
be
or not
lower
we're
than
able
the
to top that
COVID year,
number
you
from
stupid
2020, but it's questionable and debatable at the moment.
All right. So here's what I
I've
don't
got-
understand. Why are you, as Fox, breaking down counties on states that you've already called it for a candidate, right? Like, who gives a fuck how they voted? You called it already.
I mean, the Cuban vote as
Scramble.
well.
Look at this, Lemmy.
Broward County, 70% in.
Is that
Heavily
Pinellas?
Democratic there,
Yeah.
but about
They
60%
got
of the
Pinellas
vote right now vote
skewing-
for Kamala
they got
Harris.
Pinellas
The
skewing-
Trump team is saying that they're getting on the radio
job,
right
Anna
now.
Paluna
They're
Lino.
cautiously optimistic. They're doing radio in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, all the way at the top. That means the former president telling people there's still time and finish strong. That's the message from Mar-a-Lago, right around down here in Palm Beach. Back to you, Brett and Mike.
What you didn't?
have
You
time,
told us
Bill.
nothing.
We're going to have a lot
Somebody
of time.
said John King is killing it in
Okay,
chat.
We have a lot of waiting to do
you know,
still.
Where's
Georgia
John
is
King?
really
He's CNN.
crucial.
Yes.
As we
All right,
look
let's
at
go
this
over there.
raw
Yeah.
vote total,
You know
and they're
what?
also
You know what, Fox? You
getting
fucked up.
a lot that we expect to come
See
in
you
very
later.
fast. Madison Allwork is actually
We're gonna
in
put-
Norcross,
you wanna look?
Georgia.
There we go.
With,
Oh, there
view
we
from
go.
the
Yeah,
Capitol.
that's,
Hold
that's
on,
the
look at
Rubio
that.
race. We got to come to governor.
Hey,
Oh, that's
hang on.
2022.
He won
Look at this.
Broward.
Let me.
He won.
You fuck up.
He
You
was-
start fucking up at Fox. I'm back over to CNN.
Mike
Miami-Dade.
Christ,
Won
$20.
Yes.
And that was, it was suggested that he also maybe did better than traditionally Republicans had done with the Hispanic vote, which is obviously
Again,
significant.
these guys are breaking
and that's one
shit
of the
down.
areas that people
Look at Florida.
Well, that people
All
wonder
red.
about
that's
the
2022.
vulnerabilities that Harris might
For
have.
the
in the
governor
vote.
race.
Absolutely, although I
What
would
the
say in
fuck?
Florida you have the most complicated,
governor
diverse
race in
Hispanic vote
2022.
in state America. It's just much more diverse than in other places, which what makes it more complicated and fascinating, but it has become, you're absolutely right that it has become, especially down here, more Republican. In
Are
other
they trying to
states,
make Florida
it
a
was
swing state?
Obama won
I don't know what
2/3
they're trying to
of the
do.
Hispanic
I think
vote.
they're all
Now it's become
scrambling
more of a
right
fight than
now
some of the other battlegrounds. But
all
here,
because
this is why
the 7 o'clocks just closed. Indiana right now is 61 to 37 with 15% of the precincts reporting in.
tonight.
Indeed,
So-
indeed. David Chang
so
has more exit polls.
Right now, let me there.
From north of Florida, in Georgia, the battleground that
Oh,
we're
yeah,
watching
this-
right
this
now.
is
David,
important.
How is the vote splitting among
Look at
key
this cutie
groups
pie.
of Georgia voters?
Yeah, now that the polls
Hey.
have closed, Jake, we can look at some of those key demographics. So let's take a look at the African
It's
American vote,
Super Fat Bubba Light's brother.
making up 30% of the electorate according
Wow.
to these early
African
exit
Americans,
polls.
86.
Harris obviously winning it big, 86% to 12%. But I want to note here that 86% number. 4 years ago, Joe Biden had 88%, a tick higher
Oh.
of support of the African American vote,
Oh.
and Trump's 12%. He is a tick higher than he was 4
This
years ago
guy
when that
looks
was
like fucking
11%.
Bud
But it's
Meldman
roughly the
from
same
fucking
with
Saturday
the
Night
black vote
Live.
that we saw here. Look at younger voters under the age of 30. Harris is winning them. They make up 18% of the electorate.
Wow, the young
Harris
vote.
is winning them
Killing it.
60%
Georgia.
to 39%. She is doing better with young voters in Georgia than Joe Biden was doing against Trump 4 years ago. Trump got 43% of the youth vote in Georgia 4 years ago. He's down to 39%
I think,
now. So that'll
I
be
think
something
Fox
to watch.
may have gotten their
And
shit
then
together. Hold on here.
Non-college white voters. This is obviously
They're breaking. Oh, hold on. Non-college
Trump's
white.
base. 32%, roughly a third of the Georgia electorate,
non-college
are
white voters.
Non-college educated voters.
That's me.
Trump's winning
Non-college,
81% of them.
white, uneducated.
That is a bit
There we go.
better than he was doing 4 years ago, though 4 years ago, it was 35% of the electorate. So as a share of the overall electorate, it's come down. Harris is winning 18% of them, a tick under where Biden was 4 years ago. This will be the story of these exit polls in
Independent.
Georgia. Independent voters.
Voters.
They make up 31% of the electorate. That is a slightly larger share than what they made up 4 years ago. Trump is winning them by 11 points in these early exit poll
shit.
results, 54% to 30%. Jake?
So just to let you know, Dan's about 25 minutes away. Brian, the babyface Matroni, sent us all a text fairly late, 4:35, 5:30.
He's dying.
Saying that he's been in the emergency room since 12:30 this afternoon, 1:30, with a tightness in chest and all something.
A 3-day chest pain gimmick.
Yeah, 3-day chest pain gimmick. And Lummy has a conspiracy theory that it's going to be such a Trump ass whipping tonight that he couldn't take it. If that's the case, man, that really upsets me. Just because Brian, Brian's usually a pretty good sport.
Yeah,
he's usually a pretty good sport about it.
8% independents. I made up 28% of the Georgia vote, and now it is 30%. And I was right, 31%.
Jesus, get
and
it
it
right.
is a total flip. It's a complete flip. Donald Trump is doing so much better with independents than Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden kind of ran away with independents for you.
Let's switch back over to these guys.
Panel and see what they think about these numbers. Britt Hume, Dana Perino, Harold Ford Jr., Karl Rove, Laura Ingraham, and Robert Wolf.
New
Laura,
Hampshire.
welcome. Great to have you here.
New Hampshire 50-50 with 1% reporting.
Is the headline there.
Yeah, it looks like right now Harris isn't getting
Eric
enough from
Ettridge,
women, at
$50.
least in Georgia.
Here we go.
That she would need
Thank
to
you, Eric
overcome
Ettridge.
what Trump is getting from men, both increase in support from black men and men overall. This is going to.
Let me, when there's a real important message that they're saying, kind of maybe give it a little second before you throw in the money, just because she had a really, really important statistic that you jumped all. I couldn't hear.
Pull down the line.
So just time it a little bit better.
I'm sorry. It was new money. I was excited.
Yeah, I know. Catch a breath on it.
Oh, this squawk will spit something else out in a minute.
In 2020, in Virginia, Trump lost by 9.2, and in 2016, he lost by 4.9.
Mike Chris, $10.
Watch what happens in Virginia. Youngkin has been phenomenal on the ground for Trump, and even if that lead is cut by half, let's say it's 4 points, that could be a bellwether of something to come. Also, in
Merch Crick will bring you your pizza. Just tell her what you want.
Austin Wolf, $20.
So that you don't have to leave. Just tell her what you want.
Georgia, Biden flipped Georgia.
Let me make sure you tell me when Dan gets here.
Well, did Wolf Fencing $20?
Looking at those numbers right now, it doesn't seem like she's delivering that same kind of power.
Yeah, those numbers seem soft. Although I would tell you, I was predicting North Carolina over Georgia.
I got to tell you, man, having Brian here right now with all this doom and gloom with them saying that Kamala's got kind of coming up a little bit soft. Would have been nice to have his expert opinion. He could have been calming us down, saying, "Oh, we're way jumping the gun right now."
Let's call him.
No, I don't want to come.
Let's get up in his shit.
A better turnout. So I'm hoping this is just
the one fucking day we need him, right?
Yeah, not all the data obviously is in yet. Carl, what's your read on it?
Well, first of all, we're looking at half of the problem. The problem is that we're looking at is what's the division of the black vote by men and women, Trump versus Harris. The other thing we need to look at is turnout. A 1% decline in black turnout in Georgia over the last election would wipe out the 10,000 vote margin that Joe Biden had. So we're seeing part of the picture. Let's see if it's compensated or offset a little bit by how much.
Lummy, are you kind of like with me, maybe predicting a little bit of a fucking blowout early on?
Yes.
The guy that rolls around with this on his truck. Hold on here. Guy that rolls around with that on his truck.
Oh,
and was getting beeps today in Pinellas County.
My dad decided to put it on.
4 years ago, Trump won up 52-45. Tonight, with about 2/3 of the vote in, he's losing it to Kamala Harris, 50-44.
He's got to text him babyface.
So he's running behind his performance. If that happens
he's not getting out in time.
Indiana. In Georgia, with these suburban counties like Forsyth and Cherokee, Gwinnett, which was won by Biden, but it
He's
has
not
a huge number of
according to the text,
voters
they're doing
in the state are in Gwinnett. If
CT.
You remember, Hamilton County, 34% of the Republican primary voters in May voted for Nikki Haley when she had no chance of winning. We're seeing that effect tonight with the county being blue, at least at this point.
Harold, it's just worth pointing out that the Fox News voter analysis is this rolling poll over several days, 120,000 voters asked a series of questions. When we look at that data that Sandra talked about, with the raw vote total coming in, we have a sense of how accurate or not accurate it is. So far, it's lining up.
White hair is $20.
So I think Carl's point is right. I think one of the things I would love to see in Georgia is not just racial breakdown, but just breakdown of women versus men. Because if indeed he's underperforming the suburban areas in Indiana, you could extrapolate perhaps that happens in Georgia. But I would agree, if these numbers hold up,
this guy's a liberal.
If he's polling, he being President Trump, 25% amongst black men, That's a challenge. If you see that in the other big cities in the blue states, Detroit and Philadelphia, that could be an issue as you think about the tightness of this race.
You notice how
this campaign, the
you notice how these fucks talk out of both sides of their mouth? Just a minute ago, they were saying that if there's just if there's a 1% decline in voter turnout in Atlanta, that could wipe out the deficit of 10,000 that he had before, and now they're looking at some bullshit little county in Indiana that historically has gone, red, and is at this point blue. Indiana has, 15% of the precincts reporting. And so they throw Kamala a fucking bone. None of them really start. I don't think you can really start honing the shit in until a little bit, maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes from now, when we can start getting some really, really tangible data. People that are polls that are like, 35, 40, 50%, something like that.
Lot of that kind of vote out there. So Governor Kemp had some problems with President Trump for a while, but they patched those things up. And I believe that as Youngkin has been
Rick
very
Scott,
good for President Trump.
Looks like Rick Scott's going to get around with it. So Georgia president right now, 3% in. It's Harris 51, Trump 48. That...
Or doing what it needed to do in order to help get...
It's 3%. 15% of Indiana's in. It's Trump 61, Harris 37. I think they've already called Indiana for Trump.
Yes, they did.
They've already done that. So I'm going to go to my 270 to win.
Will help people feel confident about the results.
Britt, the economy is the number one issue in Georgia by far.
Years ago, and of course, he won the state.
It's everywhere, but pretty much leads the way. In our Fox News voter analysis, they break Trump's way significantly on the issue.
Kentucky, 10% in, 70 to 27.
Keep an eye on throughout the night, it seems to me.
They've called Kentucky, right?
A piece of newly minted jargon we have. There's just a low propensity voters.
You hate that word.
I think it's awful jargon.
Should I go ahead and clear this out and we go state by state as they call it? Or should I? This is the way they're predicting it goes. I think I should probably go ahead and just clear it all out, right?
Just clear it out,
and only go by what they,
If you want to do it, you just hit the little reset map, go down a little bit, to your right, right up above it, it should just clear it out.
Reset map.
Yep.
I'm hitting it.
Of course.
I'm smashing it.
What are these chocolate things from Domino's?
Oh, they're like the new. You know what they're called?
What?
The new chocolate things from Domino's.
We're cracking each other up tonight.
I got you, motherfucker. Now what? Now what? Blank map. I need a blank map.
Yep.
Right? I put blank. Okay, there we go. So right now they're calling Indiana, Kentucky. And have they called? And that's it.
That's it for now.
Is that all they've called so far?
Yes, sir.
Indiana and Kentucky. All right, here we go.
Of North Carolina, so we're going to have some data there to show you coming up right after this break as our special coverage continues.
Florida 53 to 45 with 50% in.
Dude, Florida's not in play.
Starting at 5 a.m. Lawrence, Steve, Ainsley, and Brian.
It's Fox College Football Friday.
That he would have
break out star and Big Ten rushing leader Caleb Johnson.
Of double digits in independents. And I am something you don't often hear in election coverage. It's something of a loss as to how you explain that independents
you think this little guy can bring the steam in the bedroom
for Trump this
No,
time than they did for Biden last time.
Audie, hang on. We're going to go over to Jake for a projection.
Here we go. Jake for a projection.
And we can bring you another CNN projection. CNN projects that Indiana will go to Donald Trump. Indiana with its 11 electoral votes will go to Donald Trump. Let's look at the electoral map now to see where the candidates stack up. Remember, 270 needed to win. Donald Trump has 19 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 3 electoral votes. They both still have a lot of
Vermont
to get up to 270. Let's do a key race alert for you now.
Hold on.
In Florida,
here we go.
Donald Trump is in the lead with 51.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.7% of the vote. Donald Trump has a 138,912 vote lead. I'm sorry, that just went up, a 224,914 vote lead. The votes are coming in as I do this. That's with more than a third, 35% of the estimated vote in from Florida. with its big fat packet of 30 electoral votes. The Commonwealth of Virginia, slightly more competitive.
Oh, shit.
Donald Trump in the lead right now with 58.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 40.6%
This would be an upset, Lummy.
Sure
That's
would be.
only with a handful of votes as of right now.
Yeah,
About
Virginia's supposed to go blue.
Votes as we stand by for results from the crucial state of Georgia. We are counting down to the end of voting in the battleground state of North Carolina. This historic election night is just getting started. Stay with us.
So I need to go. Let me see. I need to.
Honey,
Hold on,
the gains are pumping.
We don't do commercials.
The market's closed.
No, we do not.
So it was Vermont that they blew. There we go. So that's what they've called so far.
Yes, sir.
Look, probably the next state that they'll call will be ours in Florida.
You think?
Yeah, I think. I mean, we're 33% in.
Well, according to Fox, it's 54% in.
54% in.
Yeah.
Well, maybe go back. Is Fox back on it? No,
No,
Fox
it's just
is
on their website. It says 54.
They're still playing commercials. I think this is the last commercial, though, on Fox here. Here we go.
Creatine Travis, $100.
See just how
gifted what's up, Creatine?
Louis DiPietro, $20.
Man, Babyface, you're really fucking us.
Watching all the branches tonight, so control of the Senate could be decided as well in the state, potentially, of Ohio. Democrat incumbent Sherrod Brown fighting to hold on to his long-held seat against GOP newcomer Bernie Moreno in one of the year's closely watched races and a very expensive race. Let's check in with Nate Foy, who is live in Strongsville, Ohio, where the polls are about to close. Hey, Nate.
Hey, guys. So, yeah, more than $400 million in ad spending in this Senate race. And a few people still coming in here to vote just minutes before the poll.
For a $165,000 Senate job.
Has been strong.
Scotland,
More than 2.5 million Ohioans voted early. This morning at 5 a.m., there was a line stretching around this entire building.
Kentucky's been called for Trump. Here is what the official 270 to win website looks like. We're going by what the networks are saying. So far, the only two states that have been declared, three states, Vermont for the Democrats, and the Republicans pick up Indiana and Kentucky.
Senator Brown has campaigned seeking a fourth term, trying to make this about reproductive rights, which are enshrined in Ohio's Constitution. And for that reason, Marino told us last night it should be a non-issue in this race. And he says that Senator Brown is turning abortion into a political weapon.
Bernie Sanders always win.
There is no ability federally to be able to handle abortion at the federal level one way or the other. So what I'm going to focus on as a United States Senator is to bring people together on this issue.
Funny face,
and we will see the
$235,
impact
$10.
that former President Donald Trump has down the ballot. Keep in mind, no Democratic senator has won an election in a state that Trump carried while Trump was on the ballot. We'll see if that changes tonight. We'll send it back to you.
Nate Foy with the golf voice inside the polling.
Now, I will show you this.
That was nice.
He said there weren't that many people left.
Whisper.
Maybe he felt like he had to be quiet.
Yeah, I think so.
They called South Carolina?
Battleground North Carolina, also among the next batch of poll.
I'm looking at Newsmax right now,
and they call it South Carolina.
And they're calling Virginia. They called South Carolina. So I gotta put that on my map. Let's go ahead and put South Carolina, and then Newsmax now. They're showing Georgia going to Kamala, but Virginia maybe going to Trump. No, I think that's let me see here. Yeah, Georgia with what's the percentage?
I mean, it's 4,000 votes though, Bubba.
Yeah, you're right.
3%'s in, like it's nothing.
Uncle Eric, $50. Happy birthday, Uncle Eric.
Thank you, buddy.
Jaden Cole, 25, and Steven Rosier, $50.
Equipment used
Love you guys
for checking
on the super
in
chat.
Voters, not the actual
I gotta check
voting
my PayPal in
machines.
case John
Other than
Kustika
that,
goes crazy.
elections officials say things have been moving pretty smoothly, including in the western part of the state, which was heavily damaged in Hurricane Helene. 7 tents with electric generators and voting machines are in place to accommodate Election Day voting in areas where normal voting sites were destroyed or inaccessible. Election officials say the state's voter turnout would already voting records is on track to meet or exceed the record set in 2020 for total ballots cast. Back to you guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
So let's take it around our panel. We just heard
Captain
a little bit
Creamsicle,
about
$100.
the abortion
Thank you, Captain.
issue, Laura. And
Thank you,
it's
Captain.
interesting just looking at our Fox News voter analysis, because we saw in 2022 in the midterms, this was obviously it was more of an impact than people thought it was going to have going in. But in this situation, it appears that only a quarter of the voters who are Democrats say that it is the single most important factor in their decision. So that's going to be a big question tonight. Mm-hmm. Does abortion turn out to be as big an issue as perhaps Democrats would like it to be?
I thought the Fox voter analysis on gas prices and food prices was staggering. It was 85%, 91%. Mm-hmm. I'm very concerned about both.
Oh, my
but
God.
Certain, voter analysis
I got some huge announcements here, Lummy.
All right.
I got John Kostika with 250 on the PayPal. He said he wrote in Bubba for president. And then John Rash comes in with 75 on the PayPal. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
Bobby Williams, $20.
As you are enjoying our election coverage here.
To open border situation, or do you want a change? We know what that change was like in 2019. I don't think we've had as stark a choice perhaps since 1980.
Oh, Georgia just flip-flopped. It's 51-47 right now.
Whoa.
Trump. They're already calling Indiana right now.
8% approval rating tonight. But about abortion and young women and Donald Trump.
I'm all for it.
This Nazi, that's their close. So if it's abortion,
more guns, less immigrants.
You want us
I would have won. I would have won on that platform.
Do you want us to take over while you snack?
No.
Number one issue nationwide. Not buying some of these exit polls.
Herald of economic issues. This election
You're
overall,
snacking too, motherfucker.
it's estimated to have 15.
Do you not like Bubba's smacking?
Bubba used to eat on the radio when I would drive to Hillsborough Community College.
And I loved
it.
That surpasses.
I've been listening to that for the last couple of days back there.
2020. If you were to take a checkbook and write a check to every
Georgia right now is trending Trump.
Race.
I gather some Americans would love the $50 check as opposed to having gone through what we've gone through here over the last.
But the vice president's campaign has spent more than
he's an African American liberal.
You think?
I'll tell you, the fucking dirty liberal is Brian Petroni.
That's right.
It's early. We'll find
Paper
out.
fucking tiger.
One of the reasons we spend so much in campaigns today is that the campaign process is a business. They start 4 years out. They begin raising money and hiring pollsters and all those kinds of things. Hopefully, we get some reform.
Let's go back over to CNN. They're breaking down Georgia.
Very competitive race. Virginia used to be a battleground state. It's reliably blue now. But
Virginia just skewed up towards Harris now, 50-48.
2%
Chip Road at $20.
What, 45,000 to 43,000? This is a state that's going to be over
around
4 million votes, maybe even higher than that by the end of the night. So this is very, very early on. It's 2% of the vote. But you look at the map and you say, are there any surprises here? This would be a surprise. Prince William County in the suburbs. You see, D.C. is right here. Very blue suburbs here. Fairfax County, go back 20 years, Republican leaning. Now you come out here to Prince William County. Again, it's only 5% of the vote. Trump up by 6 points there. Just go back and take a peek. This was blue, and it was decidedly blue. So
this is Virginia.
That vote total could be one precinct, could be one Republican area. It's just a thing we keep an eye on. You mark it early on. Right now, that's where Biden did very well. At the moment, Trump. If Trump can improve in the suburbs and the exurbs, that's his path back to the White House. It's early on, but that's the thing you look at as this plays in. What else are we looking for here? This is Chesterfield County.
We're looking for
Richmond, Virginia,
an entire state fucking breakdown, okay?
To the south, suburbs around it to the north. Only 6% of the vote in. Harris getting 51%. Again, your test is match it up to Biden. He had 52. She wants to stay where his number is. You say,
she's lower than his number.
A point or so can matter. Maybe not in Virginia.
Maybe they should have thrown him back in there.
But if she's underperforming Biden.
Let's go back over to Fox. This ain't doing shit.
Florida is so interesting because Governor Ron DeSantis is such an effective governor and a great campaigner. And I think also that there are changes in Latino voters and generational changes.
She's doing her Amish gimmick.
I would also say this. When 75% of the country says you're in the wrong direction, you're going in the wrong direction, and their number one issue is the economy, you should listen to them. Because that's what it is.
Well, Miami-Dade was flipped by DeSantis. He lost it in his first governor's race, and then he won Miami-Dade in the second. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of that play out in Miami-Dade right now. We'll see.
Britt, do you want to do the TikTok sound for us?
John DeLuca, 10.
We are coming up on the next poll closing, and it's a big one because North Carolina we should start getting raw vote totals right away. North Carolina is one of the fastest states, even despite Hurricane Helene. They're doing a really great job. The Secretary of State's office there, as we wait for the poll closing right now.
Poll just closed in North Carolina.
I mean, Bubba, it's
It is
23
now
to 3. It's
7:30
over.
on the East Coast. Polls have just closed in 3 more states. North Carolina is the next state to watch, just like Georgia.
Here we go, North
It came
Carolina.
down to the wire in the
North
last
Carolina, North
presidential
Carolina.
election. It has 16 electoral college votes. And it will be a decisive one, potentially. The Fox News decision desk says it's too early to call.
Also too early to call Ohio, but former President Trump has a lead in our Fox News voter analysis. As we mentioned, we're also watching the Senate race there. Bernie Moreno is the GOP candidate running against Sherrod Brown. And we can say that Fox News does project that Trump will win West Virginia. Not a very big surprise there.
Really?
Obviously,
Yankee Jib, $10.
the former governor or the current governor is running
Creeds and
for the
Travis,
Senate as well.
$100.
So we'll
Love you, Greta.
Quick call as well. If you look at the race for 270.
All right, it looks like they're already locking in West Virginia, right, Lummy?
Yes, sir.
Ticking
All right,
up,
hold on, let me get it.
with that last call, the former
Don't we
president
already
at
know all these
23
redneck states are
and
going
Vice President
red?
Harris at 3 throughout
Well, we
the
have to
night.
be
That will
thorough.
go
We have to be-
up as
we have to
make
be,
calls.
you know.
Do
The
we?
biggest story
Yeah.
in West
I could turn
Virginia,
this
as
shit
we
down
said,
and
is
tell
the
you who's
Senate
gonna
race,
win.
where
Well, go
longtime
ahead,
Senator
go
Joe
home.
Manchin is
You're my only
retiring.
liberal.
Democrat now independent.
I gotta
Fox
play
News
up being a
can
liberal.
project
Then play it
that
up.
Jim
I'm a
Justice
moderate.
will flip this seat to the Republicans. That win
All right,
puts
I
the
love
GOP
Tampon Tim.
one seat away from an outright majority in the U.S. Senate, assuming
Wow, just
they don't
flipped it.
lose any seats along the way that they already hold.
Yes, exactly. So the Fox News decision desk says that it is too early to call another Republican target, Ohio, where the incumbent Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown, as I mentioned, fighting for his 4th term.
Oh, Trump's getting killed
against
by
Republican
getting killed in
businessman
Virginia
Bernie
now.
Moreno, and we're watching that one very closely as well. That could potentially be another flip. It's a toss-up race at the moment. The balance of power looks like this in terms of what we have fed in so far into the data at this point. You've got 40.
Warm lines ringing. It's probably Brian.
Shit, I hope he's alive. I hope it's not the doctor.
It's Brian.
Oh, fuck.
Hello?
I hear the machines.
What's up, guys?
Man, you really fucked us.
Yep. It's all part of my plan. Have stabbing chest pain at around 11 o'clock today and then be stuck in the ER for 6.5 hours before I even got to bed. And it worked masterfully.
You scared about Trump?
I am so bummed out. I mean, the one show.
He's bummed out he might die, Bubba.
The one show that I really, 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 really need you. Because you know this shit better than anybody. I even told Dan, you don't know shit compared to Brian. And you pull up lame.
I'm calling in to try and do what I can here while I'm laying in my in the hospital bed waiting to go back to radiology here in a little bit.
All right. So what? I mean, are you watching this on your phone? And
I've got it on the TV here. I've got it pulled up as I'm sitting here. I finally got a room. I was like literally 12:30 until 7 o'clock until I got a room.
What's the buzz like?
Yeah, like what are they saying about you? Like what? I mean, like let's talk. I mean, I'm just fucking with you. I hope you're okay.
No, you're not. I'm completely bummed out. I love this shit. I mean, I love it, and so I was looking forward to it, and that's why I'm calling in because like this is so much fun to me. It's like sport. But I'm hearing
early on, is it looking? Let me ask you this question: is it looking better for Trump early on than it did early on in 2020?
I would say yes, because in 2020, he ended up losing in Georgia and Arizona, and I don't see him losing those this go around. I think he's going to win both of those states. Arizona, I think, is pretty much a done deal based on the numbers that I was seeing from today and the early vote lead that they had there.
Which Arizona was a state he lost last, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's one I think he's going to flip back. It's traditionally a red state,
right? He lost it in 20. That's why it's one of the reasons guys say, well, the Georgia, Arizona. Those two flippers were how he got his ass kicked so bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's why the number looked bigger than it was, even though the vote total. We're talking about an election that's going to be decided by like 100,000 votes either way.
Does he got a chance in Virginia? The early numbers are flip-flopping back and forth.
No chance in Virginia. He might be able to keep it within 6 points, which would be good for him.
How about
he lost it by 10 last time?
How about Jersey?
I don't think so. I mean, if he wins Jersey, you can go to bed. I mean, it's over.
If he wins Jersey, we might as well just go to take our pills and go to bed.
Wait,
right?
Are we giving him Jersey because Dan said with the circles that he runs?
No,
in,
somebody had said that they thought that
I said it because I've heard a couple people say that Jersey's been pretty strong for Trump, and then Dan co-signed.
Yeah, well, of course, Dan said he lived there and everything.
Here's the thing: how many campaign stops did he make the last 3 days in Jersey? 0. Why? Because he knows he can't win there.
So
if he thought he could win Jersey and flip it, he would have spent time there.
It's all, like you said, it's all going to come down to Wisconsin, Michigan, and probably at the end of the day, if she wins those two, then everything is contingent upon Pennsylvania. And what is your prediction with Pennsylvania?
I have no clue. I heard, in reading the tweets and everything today, I heard that there was really good turnout in Philadelphia, which is a good sign for her and her campaign. But again, you're relying on, that data. But we're not going to know Pennsylvania, I don't think anytime soon, because they had 1.8 million mail-in ballots, and I still don't think they changed their rule.
No, they don't start even processing those until 8 o'clock tonight, and then they start processing everything. Whereas most states have the early mail-in and early votes already tabulated, and that's their starting point upon closing.
Yeah, Florida did it right. I mean, Florida's already got 70% of their vote counted, and it's just stupid that they don't do it that way in every state.
And what do you think?
It's 2024. We should know the results within hours of an election being over.
When do you think you'll know what's wrong with what are they saying potentially about you?
They're checking, and Dan obviously knows more about this than I do, but they're checking they're doing a CT to check my calcium, and then doing a visualization of my carotids to make sure that I don't have any blockage.
And do you have heart issues that runs in your family?
Well, I'm adopted, as you know. Shovelface is adopted.
He doesn't know his family's history. BVA, $50.
That's true. I mean, that's true. I didn't ask that because I forgot that. I didn't know.
So when my biological parents were dumping me off behind the dumpster, they didn't leave a note like, "Hey, watch out for the heart issues."
Right.
So I don't really know. I do know that I have ridiculously high triglycerides that I can't control with diet or exercise or anything.
You can get on a pill. You can get on a pill with that, though.
So I was on a fibrate for that, but unfortunately, it made me anemic. So I had to get off the
anemic?
fibrate.
Like where you bleed?
Low iron.
Oh, Dan's just now showing up. Okay, I thought he was there. I was like, he's awfully quiet through all of this.
Yeah, Dan's never quiet. I had to almost calm him down a few times today. Dan, welcome.
Thank you.
And as you know, Brian is in the hospital right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
my dreams came true.
Wow. Now, are you familiar that did you know
testicular cancer, huh?
Did you
squamous to the anus?
Did you know that he was in the hospital?
No, I didn't.
No, for real?
Had no idea.
He didn't reach out to you as a doctor?
I didn't know. What's wrong? Brian, what's wrong?
I'm not bothering Dan in the middle of the day. I had chest pain, Dan, and it's been going on for like 3 days. And
tightness of the chest.
Today I was just sitting at my desk I guess it was too much soy. We're waiting on the results. The good news is they didn't find any troponin in my initial blood draw.
Oh, so you didn't have a heart attack? Anxiety?
No heart attack. I don't know what it is. They're doing
Brian, it's anxiety because you're afraid that your girl's going to get her ass kicked tonight, and you didn't want to come in here and have to sit shoulder to shoulder to Dr. Diaco.
Damn.
I voted for Trump. What are you talking
He's
about?
Getting that big old MAGA dick out,
Slap you right across the face.
Purple-headed MAGA dick right across the fucking shovel face, kid.
Flatten that bitch, Miller.
Here's what I can tell you.
Beat like a glove.
I'm cheering for whoever wins. Okay, I want our country to
You're
do
like Don
well.
King.
Yeah.
You're going to
bring
leave
us
with the
together.
winner.
They're going to bring us together, right, Brian? Whoever wins.
Anyway, Brian, listen, here's the deal. It sounds like they're going to keep you overnight, right?
No. They're running this test so that they can get me out of here. So
the EKG was normal, tropins were normal, everything's normal.
Yeah.
You just had chest pain, tightness.
They're running
Stretch?
they're running a CT scan right now.
It's like gas, anxiety, and stress, isn't it, Dan?
Scott and Bingo 25 for Babyface.
Well, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Love you, girls.
I'm
Stay
glad
safe
it's
out
not a
there.
heart attack.
Now listen.
I'm glad you're not dying.
Do you think that you'll be out relatively soon, and can we get you right on down here?
I mean, if I texted, if I was able to get out of here, like, what time do you guys think you're going till? If I can get out of here at 9:30, I'll come right to the.
I think
we're calling this thing in about 10 minutes.
No, Pazir, $100.
Listen, just keep us as you're watching TV, because you don't have anything else to do. You're in a room now, and as you're watching TV, maybe every 30 minutes, call in with your spin on what's happening. So we might as well have you on the phone in some way, shape, or form. I'd love to have you in the studio, but we can at least have you on the phone. So maybe in 30 minutes, as things have progressed, more polls will close, more statistics will come in. You're obviously can participate. Will you call us in 30 minutes?
Absolutely.
Unless it causes you.
I am.
Unless it causes you more anxiety, I don't want you to have stress. I don't want to add to having a bunch of assignments so that you tighten up again. I don't want you tightening up and
He's shitting
grabbing.
on your mental illness.
I'm not. I know. I'm saying it seriously though. I mean, I'm sorry that this is happening.
I've got a
You're being good about
nitroglycerin
it.
patch on my chest right now. I'm feeling good. Blood's flowing nicely, and
Did they give you nitrites?
I'll call in. What's that?
Did they give you nitrates? Did they give you like nitroglycerin and stuff?
They put it on my chest because it helps for the test that they're going to run, because they got to get a contrast dye in me, and then they're going to visualize my coronaries to see.
Oh, they're doing. They're going to shoot an angiogram. They're going to do it. What are they going to do? An MR angiogram, like an MRA? Is that what it is?
It's a CT. It's a CT.
CT angiogram.
Like a CTA. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But they actually don't have to go in.
Okay.
They can only do it in the hospital setting, so it's actually kind of cool that I'm getting it done here.
Yeah, just in case you have an allergic reaction and try to die a second time today.
Dan, is there like a keyword or something Brian can say that would get him seen earlier? Like,
diaphoretic, feeling of doom.
Feeling of doom?
Sweating.
Okay.
Those are the things. Like chest, like my an elephant's on my chest. Those things get them faster.
Anyway, listen.
I did they got me in quick, and they did an EKG, and they did a blood test, and they did a chest X-ray, and then I sat in the waiting room for 5.5 hours.
So you got a Trump rally to get to, buddy.
So listen, we'll hear from you at 8:15. Okay.
All right, guys. As long as I'm not back in radiology.
Yeah, sure. Or when you can.
I'll text you. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye now.
So
Thanks.
if you want to know on Amendment 3, Bubba.
Now, is that the weed or the abortion?
It's a weed. It's right now it's 55.6% yes.
Oh shit, that doesn't pass.
Amendment 4, 58.2%.
But that's without mail. But think about this. Though. This is probably mail-in skewed because Florida counts the mail-in votes early.
So those are mailed in.
And so I think that people that are more likely to mail in or vote are a little older, maybe a little more conservative in Florida specifically.
Well, I mailed in, and I ain't old. Well, I guess I kind of am, and I voted yes on both.
I think the day vote will be helpful for both of those.
So these are what's been called so far, Dan, while you've been gone. This is how it stacks up on what the networks have actually called.
Dan looks sporty as fuck tonight.
Mike Chris, $10.
He does. You look like you're awful thirsty tonight. By the way, Dan, my sister catered in Domino's Pizza.
Oh, awesome.
So Merch Crick will get you a little plate and get you all situated.
Okay, thank you.
And then here's Lummy. This is I think Newsmax.com.
Yes.
And this is what they're This is what they're showing right now with regards to how it's skewing. They're not calling Florida, Georgia, and Ohio yet for Trump, and they're not calling Virginia and what's this one up here? New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Bubba, we live here. Can't we just call Florida? I mean, we know where it's going.
No, we
should step out, put our purple-headed monsters out there, and go. Florida's going to Trump.
All right, here we go.
78% has been called in.
There we go. That's how we got it right now. And that's 62-3. She's getting her ass whipped. But don't forget, in 2020, this was the same way. The only change is we hope that Georgia and North Carolina, Arizona, Nevada, all states I think that might have been Biden last time they're right now hopefully skewing red.
Hopefully,
that will be the difference. You can see that they already got South Carolina locked in. South Carolina, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana has been called for Trump, and basically Vermont is the only one that's been called for Harris, but she's got a Virginia pending. Trump has we're going to go ahead and put our purple-headed cocks out there, and we're going to go ahead and lock in Florida because we're here. We know we're boots on the ground. Okay, back to Fox.
And too soon to call, only 12% in, but you see a big lead
for President.
For former President Trump. If we go to the other battleground state of North Carolina, also too soon to call.
My God.
It flips there, only 2% in, and obviously
2%.
waiting on the raw vote total to fill in some of the picture as we look at our.
Remember, he was winning Georgia last time until the Fulton County fuckery started happening. Remember?
We have coming in every race that you may be following on the bottom of your screen and sometimes on the side.
And also it depends on whether they're starting to count with vote that came in early and then what sequence they start to. Then it will shift as they start to do the day of vote in these states as well. So you're going to see a lot of very big shifts, no doubt, as we continue through the evening.
Some states do it differently.
Every state has their own unique way of doing it.
South Carolina president, they got 5% in, running 60-38 Trump on South Carolina.
Around Omaha.
Vermont, looks like they've already called Vermont, like I said earlier, for Harris.
With their very unique story. Hi there, Garrett.
So is there a surprise yet?
No,
Bubba?
I don't think there's any surprise yet so far. None.
The only surprise is that the My Pillow guy is at Mar-a-Lago for the party tonight.
And Hogan, too.
Take all state. And here in Omaha, it's known as the blue dot in this deep red state because Democrats won this district's single electoral vote in both 2008 and 2020. This time around, they have spent millions of dollars to try and make that happen again, given how close this race is going to be. That single electoral vote could be a difference maker for
I think all states should just have one electoral vote, and the two states that have these splintered ones, which are Maine and Nebraska. Why do they do that? Why is that allowed?
I don't know, but it's pretty cool.
Does anybody know? Dan, do you know?
I don't know. I don't understand it, and I don't know. It must be some old grandfathered in.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it hasn't been challenged because it's kind of contrary.
Yeah, I mean, 48 states do it the same way except for you two fucks in Nebraska and Maine. Why do you have a subsect? Why do you have two, numbers instead of just one?
Getting real-time reaction.
All right, so polls close in more than a dozen states. I think probably at 8 o'clock.
Did you vote today, Dan?
Of course I did, yes.
Hey, Brett, it is so exciting to finally be here this night. Welcome to Voters' Voices. We have a live audience of Americans making their voices.
Oh, good. We can hear some Americans.
And I'm your host, Harris Faulkner. We are witnessing a race for the White House like no other. We know that.
Florida, they got Trump 54-44.
Put seven particular states in focus. And in those battleground states, if you live there, you know it has been intense. Voters are telling me all about the tidal wave of campaign ads and polling experts.
Georgia, 12% in, 62-37 Trump. Who, again, that Fulton County fuckery scares me.
Is Rick Scott ever going to lose?
No, he just he has so much money, he just pays everything off.
Republic, the Voters' Voices. You guys, it's good to see you. Welcome.
All right, fuck this.
I think there's a piggyback on the Trump wave.
I want to go back. I'm going to go over to CNN.
Spectrum, and over the next several hours, we will hear their take on the race for president and what the issues were that swayed them one way or the other. And the other person who's with us tonight is a friend I've invited, Polling expert Lee Carter, president.
All right, see you guys later. I'm going back over to CNN. We got to keep it fair and balanced.
Large swaths of Puerto Rican voters. So whether it's not
who's the chick on the right?
Because
Caitlin
these
Collins.
people want to show
She's kind of hot
they
in real life.
Kind of hot, way hot.
Or it's because they actually think it could impact him
She
in the
opens
long
her
term.
mouth.
They're watching those numbers very carefully.
Yeah, and when the margins matter, something like that certainly can. Kristen Holmes, thank you for that. Jake, obviously something the Trump campaign is watching very closely from down here in South Florida behind the scenes.
All right, Caitlin, thanks so much. Let's go to David Chalian now, who has some new exit polling. David, what are you learning
Exit
about
polling,
voters
exit polling. Here we
in the
go.
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
In the
Pennsylvania.
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, democracy is the number one issue for voters.
This guy's
Take a
the
look,
man.
33%
Larry Bubba
of Pennsylvania
Melman.
voters say democracy is the most important issue. The economy's right up there, Jake, with 30%, then abortion at 15%, immigration at 12%. Speaking of abortion, we asked, do you think it should be mostly legal or illegal? 64%.
This is where the conservatives just totally fucking screwed the pooch.
30% say illegal. We also asked for a view on fracking in Pennsylvania. You want to understand why Kamala Harris changed her position on this? 55% favor fracking, according to the exit polls in Pennsylvania.
This is super fat Bubba Light's dad.
Oppose it. And Biden's handling of his job,
Dude, this guy's
a tick
kicking ass,
higher than
Bubba.
we saw nationally. 43% of Pennsylvania voters in this election tell us they approve of Biden's job performance.
I can't believe the
56%
issue of democracy is an issue.
All right, David Chalian, thanks so much. And Chris, at least just based on this exit poll, a slightly
Phil Blue is $20 and Levy Bass $25.
Democracy is the number one issue.
20 from Jason Thomas. 200 from Kenneth Kendall.
Thank you.
And 100 from James Canterbury. 25 from Gary Selder. Jonathan Urban came in with 100. I love the coverage. So we're killing it on PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
Point.
Yeah, they're waiting
she
for
doesn't have to
tonight.
win all of the states that Joe Biden won. She just needs to win enough to get to 270, and the blue wall and the blue dot and Nebraska is enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you
fuck Nebraska, it's 3 votes. Suck my dick on Nebraska.
They said be.
Listen, you horse face bitch. Don't make me flip back over to Fox.
So they got Harris like scraping up the ones that fall off the stage.
So she's a horse face because she's Jewish, Bubba?
No. 62-37 Georgia. 20% Georgia. 62-37 Trump. North Carolina with 3%. Harris 66, Trump 32. Again, very early. Polls closed at 7:30. 3% reporting.
Whether or not those are going to flip or maybe come out in a more
Florida, I'm calling it right now. 75% in, 54-44. Seth Kushner was correct to get the purple headed out early.
They want. Kamala Harris tried to take advantage of
Virginia with 20% reporting, 56-42 Harris.
Meaning in Puerto Rican areas of Pennsylvania. It's not just about the mistake.
Now we're breaking down the Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania right now, ladies and gentlemen.
And this is because of the Puerto Rico garbage joke?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Pennsylvania with the third biggest Puerto Rican population in the mainland, behind only Florida and New York. Back to Aaron Burnett following the action in the battlegrounds.
There we go, Aaron Burnett.
Of course, chief among them right now, you're talking about it, Pennsylvania. So let's go to Kate.
This is Pennsylvania, boots on the ground right here.
Throughout the day, Kate, and now we're seeing these exit polls. Polls are going to close.
Harris, 57-41 Ohio, 15% reporting. That's a little bit of a shocker.
You said Trump had Ohio.
I know.
Moved to Philadelphia. This is the warehouse where all of the counting is happening. This is where the
South Carolina, 9% reporting, 60-38 Trump.
The Philadelphia will be posting, when it posts its first votes at 8:01 p.m., they will be posting just over 110,000.
All right, so at 8:01, man, it's really going to be fucking crucial to see what Philadelphia comes in, because if Kamala Harris is going to win Pennsylvania, it's going to be because of the urban areas of Philadelphia.
So for context,
Angel Hertzell, $50 and coding for less, $10.
Their counting pace from 2020, which we've all become so familiar with. But this is a big moment that we're learning.
8:01 p.m. is going to be a huge, huge moment for the results of Pennsylvania. That's going to give you probably an early indication as to how it go. Don't be freaked out though if it comes out, heavy Harris. Woo! Because it's obviously the urban area of Philadelphia.
Wyatt Harris, $100.
Pamela Brown is.
And they may have just gotten their voting card yesterday. The people.
Now,
What are you?
They were only in Costa Rica a week ago.
Nikki Pio, $200.
Oh yeah, with
so
a
you
hot
have
wife.
the early votes that are about to be reported shortly after 8 o'clock, and then you have
Trump's getting his ass kicked in Ohio. So back to my original statement, Dan. How fucking good is J.D. Vance right now? If J.D. Vance can't bring you his own state, then he can suck my dick.
You're right.
So let's talk about that Democratic
Have they broke down the
stronghold
counties?
of Philadelphia and what I'm being told there. An official there tells me at Temple University, the line was around the block today. I'm told they had to bring in extra machines to tabulate.
Virginia, 21%, and it's 55-42 Harris.
The Philly official also tells me while they don't have an exact number for voter turnout today, they just don't have that data right now, that turnout has certainly exceeded expectations.
Next polls close in 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Philly tell me ballots had to be replenished today in several polling places there in this Democratic
Let's look at our 270 to win.
Overall, one state
Let's look at the Newsmax, let me and see if it's changed at all.
When are we going to talk to Stein?
Oh, he's probably still trying to get in.
No, he's got a whole shit show. I think he's on the outside. There's a whole shit show going on.
His mask didn't work.
No, I'm sure none of his shit worked.
Well, according to I think Newsmax the AP, Trump's 57-42 Ohio.
Said it seems the turnout there was quote quite high and seems.
This is the big shocker: a 67-37 in Georgia in Trump.
Official also tells me at
New
least
Hampshire. I mean, that's you might as well just lock that into a blue.
I'm told this is not because of any glitches in the system or issues, just that the turnout there was stronger than they had anticipated.
North Carolina, man. Okay, only 3% reporting because that's
it's hard to say with 3%.
Yeah. Commonwealth,
we got to start. You got to get into the 20s before you can start seeing some kind of
but officials
trend.
aren't done counting the total number, and they tell me it's actually more mail-in ballots than they were expecting. So we're about to get our first big look at those mail-in ballot numbers right there in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania at 8 p.m. A lot coming our way this hour.
Did we already call South Carolina, Lummy? Because we need to.
Yeah, we did.
Could be more than 50% of the outstanding for Philadelphia. John King, amazing though when you hear about 4 hours.
John King, bring it away, buddy.
I've heard that from Pennsylvania to Nevada that young people have turned out.
Hopefully everyone's turning out. I just want to say, quickly, seeing Kate Baldwin in that spot in Philadelphia, you want to trigger some Johnny 2020 PTSD.
But that's real PTSD.
Yeah, that is the spot. I remember that.
All right, so Johnny King here is going to break down Pennsylvania for us. The Pennsylvania polls close in 5 minutes.
Biggest of the battleground.
The nice thing is, Bubba, that the turnout is great to this election, and a lot of people are participating, and that's really the most important of all of it. Is that people participate and their votes count.
Looking for here, right? Kate was just right here.
This is Pennsylvania right here.
It's the biggest basket of votes. If you're the Democrat, you need to run it up in Philadelphia. So she just said we'll get about 100,000 votes, right?
But
so let's just go back in 2020, just as a reminder. Joe Biden wins Philadelphia with
81 to 7 to basically 81 to 18 in 2020.
Building block. We're going to have to wait to see what keeps coming after that, especially if those are early ballots. And we'll see. Are the early ballots this year as disproportionately Democratic as they were in 2020? That's one of the things we'll see. But this is...
Love me, another 100 from Johnny K.
Damn.
Love you, Johnny K.
It has to be not only a high percentage, but you want a high turnout. You want to do some raw math there to run up your margin.
1,500
then we get into
on
the
Twitter,
suburbs
Bubba.
around Philadelphia, the Collier counties, Bucks, and Montgomery. And
1,500 where?
1,500 people watching on Twitter.
We got 1,100 on
YouTube. Two
YouTube.
places that I'll keep an eye on tonight. Again, I said this at the beginning of the program. Maybe you weren't with us. There are 25 counties in America, only 25 counties in America,
and
that voted twice for Barack Obama, then
700
for Donald
on
Trump,
Rumble,
and then switched back to Joe Biden. Right? So those are your bellwether counties. 2 of them are in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. One is in its northwest corner. Little Boston came out there. There's Erie. Look how close it was in 2020. But the winner goes on to win the White House, right? And then you come over here. Pam just mentioned Northampton County, which is right along the Jersey border right here. Been there a few times in this campaign, part of our All Over the Map project, a great group of voters there. And again, look how close it was in Northampton County. She mentioned long voting lines there. I talked to one of our voters earlier today by text who said she was confident that Harris could pull it out, but that's a bellwether there. That's Pennsylvania. Now let's come back to 2024 and see what we have on the map. At the moment, we told you this early on, the vice president is leading in battleground Ohio. Not much of a battleground anymore. This is a reliably red state.
Man.
So just take this. It's 20% estimated reporting. You'd rather be ahead than behind, but remember we told you some states you're going to see a lot of early votes first, and then you get election day.
If he loses Ohio, Oh my God!
It doesn't seem like he's
by the end of the night
thinking about that, though, John King.
He's like, Cleveland came in.
Earlier tonight, I talked about Hamilton County, Indiana.
Ernesto
County,
Suarez,
just north of Indianapolis,
25.
where the vice president was leading when we were in the 50%. We're above 62%.
Indiana's red, though.
But here's what we don't understand, Dan, is that they've already declared Indiana a Trump win. Why do we give a fuck about Hamilton County or
other counties?
Like, who cares?
Because those counties predicted the election. That's what they're
Commonwealth of Virginia, and then we'll move south. Again, if you're Harris, Joe Biden had a 10-point win here. Right? If you want to recreate the 2020 map, you want the states to come out roughly like they did then. Only at 22%, but right now, he's in the ballpark for a 10-point win. We'll keep an eye on that. If you get that 10-point win there, the question is, can you carry it over? This has always been Democrats' frustration. How do we get Virginia, but we can't get North Carolina? Demographically, they're very similar. You could even say there are some more advantages for Democrats in the research triangle. Younger voters, more black voters. Right now, the vice president has the lead, but again, we are very early on in the state of North Carolina.
4% estimate reporting in North Carolina. You got a breaking news?
I got a breaking.
What do you got?
Why do we know?
Anna Paluna-Lena wins re-election.
It's going to take about 2.7, 2.8 million
she
to win
beat
the state. So we have a long way to go here. Let's just take one more look at Battleground Georgia before we get to the top of the hour.
What was the margin?
See, votes coming in. It's time to do some serious math at the top of the hour.
She looks happy.
Donald Trump leading at the moment, 182,000 votes ahead. We're only about a third of the vote.
33% of Georgia reporting, and it's 54-48 or something like that.
Indeed. Voting is about to end in states.
Funny fan in Orlando, $50.
Biggest round of poll closings all night.
So the 8 o'clocks are
big dump.
Yeah, this is where shit's about to get real. Right now.
And
This is where shit's about to get real.
So Donald Trump will win the state of Florida with its 30 electoral votes, as expected. Donald Trump, CNN projects, will win the state of Tennessee, as expected.
We got to lock him in. Tennessee. Let's go ahead and lock Tennessee in. Okay, hold on. Back over.
With its 11 electoral votes. Missouri will go to Donald Trump. Missouri, as expected, will give.
Let's go back to, there we go, Missouri. Sorry.
Donald Trump, 10 electoral votes. Here are 2 more projections for Trump. Alabama, CNN.
And Oklahoma. Hold on. Alabama and Oklahoma. Back. Okay.
Donald Trump with its 9 electoral votes. And Oklahoma, CNN projects, will go to Donald Trump with its 7 electoral votes. We have some projections for Kamala Harris as well.
All right, here we go.
CNN projects that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts with its 11 electoral
Maryland.
votes.
Surprise.
So where's Massachusetts at? Massachusetts, Maryland. Is it Maryland right here? I can't see a Maryland, MD.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Hold on. Maryland, and then where else was she?
As expected, will go to Kamala Harris. CNN can project that Maryland, as expected, with its 10 electoral votes, will go to Kamala Harris. And CNN can project that the District of Columbia, with its 3 electoral votes, can go.
They got more than some states.
Hold on. Where's District of Columbia? Right here, D.C. Boom. There you go. There is the latest.
Primetime choice, 25.
Here are the states where the polls just closed, where we are not prepared to make a projection. They include Connecticut, Delaware,
Illinois. Illinois is going to be as blue as
Mississippi,
fucking Seth's balls on a Saturday night.
New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. No projection in any of those states. Here is the electoral vote count at this hour. Donald Trump has 90 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 27 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. Neither of them has approached that number yet.
Do you think Melania's hoping he loses?
For you now in the big battleground.
Hold on, here we go.
Keeps him busy.
Kamala Harris is in the lead there with 51.8% of the vote.
reporting in North Carolina.
47.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris with an 11,000 plus vote lead. That's with only 5%.
North Carolina's tightening now. See that?
A lot of votes to count.
Georgia, man, I'm calling Georgia. I'm damn near calling Georgia with a 10.2 point lead.
Percent of the vote.
With 2 million people
a third of the vote in Georgia. That's 33% of the estimated vote. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, Kamala Harris in the lead with 54.2% of the vote. Donald Trump has 43.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris with
25% reporting out of Virginia. It looks like it's going to go to her.
That's with a quarter of the vote counted in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 25%.
New Hampshire's up. He got smoked in New Hampshire. Of course he did.
7%.
Only 10%, but still, I don't think that's obtainable.
Percent of the vote. Kamala Harris with a 9,517 vote lead. That's with only a tenth, 10% of the estimated vote counted in.
That's only 4 electoral votes.
In Ohio.
Don't bust me up.
Kamala Harris in the lead there. 54.
This is what is concerning me, Dan, right here.
0.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris.
25% of Ohio has been counted, and he's down 10 points.
Ohio, that's with a quarter, 25.
I would smash J.D. fucking Vance in the mouth if I was Donald Trump.
John King.
If he loses Ohio,
this
absolutely.
Early in the program, we're going to say it again because caution is sometimes the map early in the night.
$500. She wants to bust Elon Musk.
My sister wants to bust Elon Musk.
Or the end of the count.
Does that mean fuck?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Texas blue?
Texas is blue.
What?
Texas is most unlikely. Rule out nothing, but Texas is most unlikely to be blue at the end of our count.
All they got is
at the moment,
Dallas.
the vice president's leading 61% to 38%, but it's just 5% of the Texas vote, as you
reporting.
Can see. It's all from Dallas.
Well, hold on, but don't forget all about the California fucks that moved to Texas during COVID. Right?
Folks, look at that in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Again, only 3%.
Look at that, man. That Ohio being blue's got me real concerned.
Can be. 73% if you round up for Vice President Harris, 27% for
Pennsylvania. The earliest report just in 72 to 26. Harris looks like only Pittsburgh is really reporting. That's 3% reporting again.
Dramatically.
72 to 26.
73% if you round up, and if you come back here. Joe Biden got 59%. So if Harris can keep that number, that would bode extremely.
Man, this ain't looking so swell.
4 years ago.
Just like last time, Lemon, when we were feeling good.
0.5.
And then we got our asses kicked.
What you get here early on are early votes, which tend to be more Democratic. So let's just wait and see if she can hold. But you'd rather start ahead of your margin and then battle from there. That's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let's wander back through the map. North Carolina, a critical battleground. If Harris can win North Carolina, Trump's math gets a lot more complicated.
No, it does.
If Harris loses North Carolina and Georgia, her math gets a lot more complicated. Here's where we are right now. 12,000 votes ahead, only 6% of the vote in. Again, she's got 179,000 and change. Just for the context, Donald Trump got 2.7 million plus to win this state in 2020. So a long way to go in the count. But you look at the map and you say, is it filling in the way each candidate would want it to fill in? So let's start here. Actually, Mecklenburg is the largest population center, and Vice President getting 70% if you round that up.
That's where fucking NASCAR's based out of. Let me.
Big. The African American community, the suburbs around it. Charlotte. If you're going to compete in North Carolina, you start in Mecklenburg County. In Charlotte, so 70% if you round up.
Where's all the Dale Senior guys?
67% for President Biden 4 years ago. Former Vice President Joe Biden when he ran. This gets a little confusing. But if you're Harris and you can keep that advantage, that's what you want, right? You want to run ahead of where he was. The question is, it's early in the night. Can she hold that? That would bode well for her. If she can, it would show African-American turnout and that she's doing well in the suburbs. Then you move, if you're the Democrat, over to Wake County, which is Raleigh, the second largest population center in the state.
Man,
again, we're only
African-Americans hate Trump, don't they?
And then we check back.
North Carolina, they do.
72% for her. Or if you want to look at Trump's number, equally important, where is he performing vis-a-vis last time? 27% for him. You come back here, 62%. So again, in the early returns in North Carolina, the Vice President of the United States
is doing better.
Key areas, the Democratic building blocks, is running ahead of her boss.
Yeah, I mean, like in the early returns, she's skewing ahead of Biden, which concerns me.
So do you think who do you think are making up the early returns in North Carolina?
I don't know.
Early votes tend to be disproportionately Democratic, so let's watch and see.
Some illegal immigrants, maybe?
The campaign, you're just checking your list. Are we above or below where we want to be? And if you're above, you take a breath and you wait for more votes to come in. I want to look out in this part of the state because
Georgia with 36% reporting, 56-43 Trump.
Has done a remarkable job getting the facilities open and making people to vote.
But Lummy, you can't call Georgia too soon because you know that Fulton County fuckery could happen at a moment's notice.
And if you round up for the vice president, if you go back again in these early results, emphasis on early results.
Again, we're on CNN too.
Biden,
you know that. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
hold on. Let's go flip over to our somebody who's
bringing us the truth.
Here's just liberal.
You have Loudoun County.
Yeah, that's Fairfax County. That's an ex-urban county.
Yeah. All right, so 3% of Pennsylvania's in, and she's up 71 to like 25.
Insights that we have, and we can go into this county here.
Seems like Pittsburgh's the only one that they're
mail-in votes in Pittsburgh. Point 4 years ago. Okay, let's go ahead and click on this and find out together. Okay,
everybody's all worried about this shit going on here.
Reporting in that county. Trump's got a 3.3 jump higher than he was performing 4 years ago.
All right.
Now we'll clear this off here. How it computes here on the computer with 4 years ago, That's a slip about 4.5 points for Kamala Harris in that county. And Harold,
can you see how both networks report the same news differently?
Absolutely. Everything's biased.
Well, yeah, I mean, CNN's about the advantages that she's having, and then, Fox is more towards, hey, man, that's 5 points better than he did last time.
Stein's on the one man.
All right, cool. Let me talk to him. Alex Stein, live from the Kamala Harris headquarters. Sounds like you're getting attacked.
No, it is loud, but I got my White Guys for Harris stuff on, so it's okay. And my producer, who I'm going to fire, didn't even get. They got to the second round of press credentials and somehow denied us. So
who,
now
the
we're
Princeton
just
guy?
out here like a total. Yeah, the Princeton guy. So I'm out here like a total Kamala Mark, just being.
You're just like you're like more of attraction than she is. You're the star.
No, she's the star. But I'm telling you, out here, it is just the goofiest goofballs. I don't even want to say it out
loud. Like the purple-haired transitioning weirdos?
Not even that, because there's a lot of African Americans that are actually cool. Like, they're cool, but then, like, the people that are mixed in, it's like kind of trans, kind of odd, bizarre.
Just weird, just real weird.
Like the circus?
What are you hearing as whatever network you're watching or whoever you're reporting for? We're watching both, CNN and Fox. They all have their spins on it. Is he going to lose Ohio?
I don't know. It's all up in the air right now. And then, that clip that you posted of me saying it's over, I think it got like 100,000 views on my Twitter, and I'm getting killed. Dickie Barrett, the lead singer of the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, who's a good friend of mine, and he called me and cussed me out, basically. He's like, why would you say this? But I'm just being honest. I think it's.
I don't know, man. It's encouraging. In some instances, I mean, you probably don't have the television coverage that we have access to, but it's encouraging in some aspects where it looks like he's going to pull off Georgia, but then he looks like he's getting his ass kicked in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Ohio,
they just said that a bunch of protesters disrupted a polling place in Pennsylvania. It just happened. The AP just posted it less than 8 minutes ago. So, I mean, they're trying to pull every fuddy-duddy stuff. And did you see all the voting machines are broken in Pennsylvania? It's all going to come down to that one state, and it's not going to go in our favor. Well, I just said it here first. I mean, even though everybody's been saying that.
Everybody's been saying it's going to go down to Pennsylvania, but you're going to say it's going to be a fuck job. It's going to be a Philly fuck job?
It's going to be a Philly fuck job. It's going to be, I mean, it's just...
Just like it's going to be like the Montreal screw job in wrestling. It's going to be the Philly fuck job.
And then the 2020 election, Biden won 92% of D.C. I'm just telling you, if you just lived in D.C., you would think Donald Trump was the Antichrist. Like, these people, and then I was interviewing, we've been getting B-roll, and I was like, what do you want to say to Donald Trump? And literally, it was like a record stop, just because I said his name. They're like, oh, we don't want to say anything to him. It's just, dude, this place is...
Now, they do have West Virginia. They're 63-35, 12% in for Trump, but he's expected to win West Virginia, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
West Virginia's locked.
Oh, yeah, West Virginia's already locked in. It's one of the locked in. Georgia's getting tighter. It's what's in now? 36%. It's too soon to call. 56.8 for Trump and 42.7 for her. He needs Georgia. If he doesn't get Georgia, we can all go home tonight.
It's going to be bad if he doesn't get Georgia, because he needs that.
And hold on, here's the other thing. If he doesn't get Ohio, he might as well go to bed.
Is Ohio that close? I mean,
Ohio's that bad. He's down like.
What is it? What are the numbers? He's down that bad.
He's down by like 10 or 12 in Ohio with like 12. Yeah, and like what the fuck?
No, it's right now. It's 51-47. Harris.
All right, so he's down 4, and he's down 4 in Ohio. How much reporting, Lummy?
30.
30. He's down 4 in Ohio. Let's hope that's all Cleveland, that's participated, and we haven't had, Rosberg, Ohio report yet.
Yeah. But we need Canton.
That shows you how shitty. That shows you how shitty J.D. Vance is. Period.
Bite your tongue.
I know. They should be dominating that, but this is going to be it's going to be a monumental evening. I don't think there's going to be any. I've been talking to cops. They say all the protests that's happening right now is at the White House. So as soon as we leave here, we're doing our Blaze hit. We're going to go to the White House and get coverage there. Because there's a few protesters here, but they're light. I mean, they're not in full force because they know that they would be overwhelmed. So they got like a skeleton crew of 5 Palestinian protesters. And I asked them, and I was like, acting like I'm sympathetic. And they said, most of their crew's at the White House right now. So
I don't know.
We'll see.
So Sleepy Joe can look out the office or the window and wave at him. Oh, look all the people out there. Oh, it's awful nice.
So how late are y'all going to go? Because I'll call you once I'm done with this Blaze hit and I get to the White House.
Probably at least till 10:15.
Okay, all right. I'll be done, and we should be there around then. So I'll call you. I'll give you guys an update later. But like I said, right now, the energy's all pretty good. I mean, everybody here thinks Kamala's going to win. I mean, I don't know if that means anything because, like I said, it was 93% Biden in 2020. But we'll just have to wait and see. Ohio, J.D. Vance, if you were right, should have been Tulsi. But
should have been, absolutely. All right, my man. Talk to you soon.
All right, fellas.
Bye now.
Talk to you soon.
And yet here we are. It's still a factor.
And here we are with a political rise from January 7th, 2021.
So that means, are these locked in?
Who is at least tied and in a good position and has a...
By the way, Jason Thomas came back with 20 from Oregon. Thank you, Jason. William Schneider, 100. John Kostika, 100. And Kenneth Kendall said, let's fudge some whores at 200. How about that, Lummy?
How are things looking, Aisha?
Now, who's this, Dan? Who's this?
Things are looking good here.
Ashana
Me still hasn't really filled up the convention center, and that's because I'm told that there's a long security line. Apparently, a lot of folks
she
are
looks
at the
like
Hill
Michael Jackson hybrid
door and still haven't made their way over, and that's because there's a really long security line. They got to go through the max before
Illinois,
they get in here.
What's that?
They're calling Illinois.
The
okay.
people, the spaces that you see behind you, why that hasn't filled up just yet. I want to just talk about, you guys were on the big screen when you called Florida in here, and everybody erupted into a cheer. I was just talking to Congressman Mike Waltz of Florida, of the great state of Florida, and he was telling me how it was a record early vote turnout, and that's why. And he thinks that's going to resonate across the country today. People are going to come out and vote for Trump. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Aisha.
Thanks. Let's check in with Jackie Heinrich. She's at the Harris campaign headquarters in Washington, D.C.
Hold on. This is, by the way, we just heard from Alex Stein, probably sitting right beside her.
Compared to where Aisha is, I should note that...
no, she's actually in the event. Sorry.
We don't actually have Harris campaign officials because they're in Wilmington tonight. So we're trying to get a sense from campaign officials about who was invited to this event, how many thousands will be here, and who's in the crowd. But I am hearing from people close to the vice president, sort of watching these reports come in. They've started tonight very anxious about Georgia, and the first batch of data that they're getting is leaving them feeling pretty buoyed about it. A source close to the VP says that they're seeing really high turnout in the metro Atlanta area, and as of a short while ago, they had a
again, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, too early to call.
Showing up, and also they noted that black turnout.
By the way, this outside. This is where Alex is right here, Lummy.
Yeah, we could have seen him
dancing. One thing they've been wrestling with is whether or not they underestimated Trump's get out the vote effort.
Georgia with 42% reporting, 55-43. Trump.
Call she's
All
a
right,
betting
Jackie,
site.
thank you so much. Before we make some race calls, Harold, you wanted to clarify something you said?
The 58% 42, the Florida abortion initiative, that it didn't pass, though, because you had to have 60%. So I misspoke, but it got 58%, but fell by 2. And matter of fact, they had a marijuana.
Hold on. Are they saying that it failed by 2?
Number either to get to 60.
Yeah, and
so both failed.
Governor DeSantis is touting both of those things down there in Florida. Okay, we have some...
Marijuana and abortion failed in Florida, is what they're saying.
Let me look that up.
Are you fucking kidding me? I couldn't be any more disappointed.
Businessman Dave McCormick, the Fox News Decision Desk said...
That sucks.
This could be a big
55, 44 marijuana, 57, 42 abortion.
Is it locked?
It's 86%.
All right, well, I mean,
not
there's
quite
still
locked.
time. No.
Yeah, early to call the race between Democratic County Executive Angela Alsobrooks and former Republican Governor Larry Hogan. Alsobrooks has
Virginia's getting
lead,
close,
50-48. Fox News voter analysis.
50-48 Virginia.
Harris.
And too early to call.
Again, man, Kenneth Kendall, 200.
Thank you.
Johnny Kostika, William Schneider, Jason Thomas, another Kenneth Kendall. Gary Selder, whatever the hell his name is. A lot of activity on PayPal tonight. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Thank you for appreciating our election coverage.
Can project that in Massachusetts, Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren will win her third term.
Connecticut's Democratic Senator Chris Murphy will also win a
Hold on,
third
they
term.
got Illinois.
Not enough data to project the main Senate race quite yet.
I got it called.
And in New Jersey, current Democratic
These guys are
House
fucking
Rep
idiots.
Andy Kim will win his Senate race,
Newsmax?
putting him in the upper chamber for the first time. This is the Bob Menendez.
I saw that.
In Delaware, Democratic House Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester will win her first.
They changed it. Yeah, they changed it to blue.
Democratic
Idiots.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse will return for a fourth term. And let's take a look at the balance of power and how it shapes up at this point in the evening. 8:18 on the East Coast. You have 43 Republicans.
Dan, they're going to lose. They're going to lose the Senate. I'm thinking.
The former governor will now be Senator Jim Justice in West Virginia. 34 Democrats have secured their seats in the Senate, and a long way to go in the upper chamber as well.
We have a lot of raw vote totals starting to dump in from those early states. More Democracy 24 coverage ahead as we await
Ohio's
the next
hulking
round
up
of poll closings.
All right, let me go back over
See,
to
the Senate I thought was supposed to be won by the Republicans, and they were worried about the House.
Yeah, the Senate flipped a seat in West Virginia.
All right, this is the CNN coverage. Oh, we got a commercial on this gimmick too.
Ohio looks like it's 48, 50 or 50-48.
50-48. Harris. What's the percentage of votes?
36.
Okay. All right.
So much ice in carpal tunnel. Poppies in the oven.
All right, I got nothing but fucking straight commercials. This is what we got locked in so far. I think that this is what they. Is this all they've called so far?
They've called more.
That's all I have.
Yeah, I got 105, Donald. I got 46, Kamala.
They had her at 70, though. One of the stations had her at 70.
Those Newsmax, 72?
Let's see here. No, they have her at 31. So they got her at 31, and we got her at 46.
Oh, hold on. It looks like they're calling New Jersey.
They're calling New Jersey
blue. 53-48.
New Jersey's blue?
Yeah.
Okay. So much for Dan's theory on the boardwalk.
And then looks like Maine's as how many is that? 1, 2. Looks like 2 of Maine's little split things
are both blue.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
There's a third one though, isn't there?
No, last time.
Hold on, no. Maine switched it up now. They only got 1 so far.
Oh, so they only got.
Yeah.
So we'll go.
Lummy, I'm so confused.
1.
So much, Jesus.
We'll go 1, and then Nebraska is the other one that has 3, I think. I don't know. This is, you know what? If I was a congressman or a senator, I'd vote a bill into let's put these 2 states back on track with everybody else. Jesus, add 7 ads.
Oh yeah, this looks like a good movie though. Hey Bubba, I'm not hearing it. I'm not seeing or hearing good things about the abortion and weed amendments.
They lost. They both lost.
They both lost. That's a fact. Have the ability to.
Yeah, true. True. It just shows you how fucking. It just shows you how conservative and red we are.
What happens now though? Like, is it still there's no abortion? Like, is it
5 weeks, 6 weeks?
So got to reverts to that.
Got to go to another state.
It reverts. Yeah, pretty much got to go to, wherever.
Wow,
that disappoints me. That really disappoints me.
Surprising, Dan. Are you surprised?
I am surprised, but 60 is a hard threshold.
No,
that's why they changed it to 60. Because it's so hard to get to. Hard to get 60% of a large population.
All right, here, we got Fox back here. Hold on now.
But the thing to point out here is when you compare it to 2020, those that have a negative view of the economy, this is about 6 points higher than it was just 4 years ago. I want to look at Pennsylvania and show you what we're seeing.
Yeah, we need to
there.
see this.
Okay?
Right now.
When it comes to...
No, we don't want to know what they want or what they're concerned about. We want some hard numbers.
Those that are...
Georgia, 55-44. Half the votes are in. Trump's up by 11.
That's a pretty good lead.
Which we can now do as we work our way into close.
Illinois, they called it already with just 1% in. 62-36.
They got some poll numbers.
It is about split with the edge going to Donald Trump.
Indiana's called for Trump.
Okay, so substantial.
62-35.
We're still big change,
So what's our score?
and it is about even in PA. We've got a lot more we're going to dig into in Pennsylvania.
We got to get some numbers out of Pennsylvania, okay?
Senator,
Thanks. Let's bring in our Fox Business panel. Maria Bartiromo, Larry Kudlow, Charles Payne, and Kevin O'Leary. Great to see you all. Maria, it's not just the betting markets on the election. It's the markets that were betting prior to this election day. What are we to divine from all of that tonight?
Well, I think when you're talking about investors and businesses, Brett, Martha, I think you really have to look at economic policy and tax policy in particular. The one issue that is bothering investors and corporations out there is the plan of Kamala Harris to raise the corporate tax rate to 28%. We haven't seen that in a long time, and the word
Maryland, they called it for her
wages
with 1% in.
When a corporation is looking at a 28% corporate tax rate, it's likely that means less money for employees. And
yeah, you're damn right.
The issues that business.
Everybody's going to take a pay cut around here if our taxes get jacked up.
Let's see. Of course, Trump has talked about a 15%.
That's your Kamala. That's your Kamala.
What do you mean that's my Kamala?
Yeah. People that sign the checks don't vote for Kamala. People that cash checks vote because they don't realize what's going on.
Until them all is regulation.
We're all stupid.
Kamala Harris
no, she's raising business taxes. He's cutting them.
On the climate change agenda,
tariffs?
Which has been a real issue for the Biden-Harris administration already. Things like a company has to evaluate.
Michigan president, only 4% in. Kamala 60, him 37. 4% in Michigan.
Very expensive, creates the need to hire lots of consultants, and that's what business is worried about when it comes to economic policy.
Enough of you. Let's go back over to CNN. They seem like to be giving me some numbers now.
Right now. If you go back 4 years ago, he was at 36%. So if he stays where he is, he's in trouble in Pennsylvania. But again, these are very, very, very early results. So we've been looking at this from the vice president's perspective. Let's come back to 2024.
They're saying that he's in trouble in Pennsylvania.
Former president's perspective, and that is these red areas out here. So this is Butler County. This is where the rally was where the assassination attempt was made on the former president's life. Very small smattering of votes right here, but this is Trump country. This is Trump country. 81%.
Yeah, so much as they try to kill him.
Right now, you go back 4 years ago, 67%. So let's see. It's very, very.
By the way, the next polls close in 3 minutes and 42 seconds.
Places we lay down markers and we look. Does Donald Trump match or exceed his 2020 performance in these smaller red rural counties? That is his building block in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and in all of the battlegrounds. He runs it up in the small rural areas and he goes from there. Let's move down. North Carolina. Jake, I'll take it back to you. I'll be back in a minute.
That's right. I have a projection now. CNN
here we
has
go.
a projection.
Here we go.
And CNN can project that South Carolina will go to Donald Trump. South Carolina, as expected.
There we go.
Oh, we already had it locked in.
9 electoral votes.
Yeah, we already elected.
It was like Illinois, man.
Map. Donald Trump in the lead with 99 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 27
CNN's a little
votes.
stingy. A little slow.
Electoral votes needed to win.
You want the ones running fast to lose. You want the biggest scores possible.
In the lead. John?
And Jake, as you come back, you just mentioned the Electoral Council. Let me just wander over here. It's very early in the night. I just want to wander over for a minute. These are the ones, the states we have projected and called. And you see, as Jake just noted, 99 for Trump, 27 for the vice president.
And what do we got?
We're very early. It takes 270
we got 105, 60.
The thing you look at when you look at this map is, are there any surprises? And the answer as of now is
delayed.
no. That the states that are red are states that Trump has won consistently in the Republican states, and the states that are blue are Democratic states. So we have no surprises on the map at the moment because those states, none of those states are considered battleground states. But you always watch on election night, every now and then you get a surprise. At the moment, the map is filling in as expected as we await for the states that tend to be the swing states and the battleground states. Just one point I want to note.
Bubba, do you have a
big
PayPal?
Picture.
He already painted a bunch of states blue here.
Ohio was blue. Ohio has turned red now. Donald Trump with a very narrow lead, but it's the trend as the election day votes start to come in. States that are reliably one
oh my God,
Lummy.
Ohio, suck a D.
Mark asked if you could read it.
J.D. Vance.
As we do it. So let's look at the battleground.
Angela Hartzell, Lummy, 50.
Over there, who can
Greet
get
the drivers 100.
Georgia is one of the big pieces of the puzzle.
Brenda Allen, PayPal, and Lummy, who is that?
Mark wants you to read the
Mark from
comment.
Tarpon?
Yeah. By more than 300,000 votes.
Wholesale computers?
Half the count is good.
Wholesale computers. $1,000. Big D and Dr. D Esquire money. Love you. Mark from Tarpon, right? Pop it like it's hot.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Traffic's like it's hot.
Traffic like it's hot.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Was at 83.
So, Dan, you're saying Ohio's making a comeback?
Yeah.
Very early in the count there.
Baby blue
Keep an eye
eyes.
on that. She'd have to make that. That would be a big. That would be if she's underperforming Biden there. That would be a big deal. And again, just want to show you the Trump
I wonder
base.
if
I'm gonna just
CNN's
pick one
dragging it
randomly.
out as long as they
Wilcox
can,
County,
so
I
they
did
can
that
just
one
keep
before,
all
so let's
this
pick another one.
map
Pulaski
as blue
County
as
right above
possible.
it. 95% of the vote.
Because they
in.
do seem slower.
70%.
They do seem
They'll
slower.
have a great 4 years of Trump's elected,
flooding
won't
our
they?
country with
Oh,
cash
I know they
we did
will.
not
I mean,
need.
the anchors
It was fun
won't,
for
but the
regular folks
owners
when you got
will.
the stimmy check in with
All right,
your
all right.
everyone outside of the top 20.
Yeah, I mean, CNN, what benefits their business is for Trump to win. That
Trump
way
is money for everyone.
They got something to hate on to something in some content. If Trump loses, they ain't got shit.
The only one that hasn't made money off of Trump over the last 7 years, 8 years, is Trump.
Personal security. The open border is an economic issue for the
Oklahoma, I think they've already called.
been seeing.
Pennsylvania, this scares me. 8% in. Harris 72, him 27. Looks like an ass whipping, and that could be the election. That's what they're saying, and the election might come down to is Pennsylvania, and he's getting his ass absolutely fucking handed to him right now.
American economic
Biden's doing that
future.
ass smack.
What do you see winning these voters over tonight?
Well, I was disciplined when I was listening to both parties and disappointed we didn't get into policy enough because it got crazy towards the end.
I tell you, I'm bummed out about abortion and weed not making it in Florida.
I'm hearing there's still a chance, though.
Are you?
Well, because there's like 15% of the precincts still out.
Right.
Yeah, it's 88%.
So I don't know if that's enough.
So there's 12% left.
And it's count the military ballots.
And they haven't counted the military ballots?
No, they always count those last.
Nobody ever discussed that in the last 2 weeks. I look at that. I have to invest tomorrow morning no matter what happens. And the idea of price controls, that's a bad idea, too. We left those
He's got a lot
alone,
of
and
dandruff
they
on
are
the suit.
very, very dangerous
It's gross.
ideas.
He's a
Don't you
bazillionaire.
think, I mean, with all due respect,
Hey, skin problems happen, Dr. Dan, okay?
Come on,
We all
man.
can't be
every
fucking
single
perfect.
thing
Come on,
you
he's a
just talked
roller.
about. He
Mark
completely opposes
Besner,
corporate
25.
All I remember was DC Hunters.
All right, guys,
and
we've
I
got
remember
Dave Marr, 20
And we will
from Ohio.
You need to read the.
Won't you guys, not you guys, you fucks on Fox, shut the fuck up and talk one at a time.
Wonderful. Continue
Thank
that
you
talk.
all.
We're going to make some calls.
That's because the hour is upon us, 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast, and the Fox Decision Desk.
Fish on the J, $50. Thank you, PayPal. PayPal's been on fire tonight. Love you
It
guys.
hasn't voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since Bill Clinton.
And as you look at the race to 270,
Babyface
as
is
it ticks
on
up,
warm line.
111 for former President
Still
Trump,
alive?
72
He's
for
the MRI
Vice President
machine.
Harris. That'll be on your screen all night, and the ticker there on the bottom.
Over to, we'll turn the TVs off and over to Babyface. Probably
Hey, guys.
Are you done with your procedure now?
Yeah. I've
You
never
okay?
had a iodine contrast before, man. That lights your body on fire.
God, you're such a pussy.
Wow.
I mean, like as far as like makes it hot inside.
Yeah,
the vagina got
like
hot
the
warm.
back of your throat, your butthole, like everything gets warm.
All right, did
Just
they
like
get
that with Diddy.
Have they given you the results yet or no?
No, they said it's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours, so it's not looking good for me to get to the studio.
All right, so what do you see? I mean, are you watching TV? Do you have anything for me?
So I think the most surprising thing so far is Trump winning Hillsborough County by 3%.
Woo!
Typically a
It's a
blue
Democratic.
county.
Yeah, it's a Democratic
Yeah,
county.
and I mean, I think usually by like 3 to 4 points easy in Hillsborough lately.
What about
And
Pinellas?
Trump is, he's definitely he was going to win there, but I think he's up by like 5 or 6 there. But he outperformed Florida. I thought he was going to win by about 8 or 9 points in Florida, and it's looking like he's going to go like 10 or 11.
All right, so what do you what are your thoughts about? It looks like it's an early ass whipping in Pennsylvania, or are we just jumping the gun right now?
No. That was the mail-in in Philadelphia County. I mean, that's if it was less than that for Kamala, I would be worried. So no, I don't think we can read too much into it yet in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, rather, with the numbers. I think he's looking good in North Carolina right now. Under the circumstances, given that looking at the vote that
They're calling right now. They're calling it. It's 49. It's basically a dead heat at 49-7 to 49-3 in North Carolina. With I don't know how many the percentage of precincts.
Yeah,
reported.
but if you look on the gubernatorial race, the Democratic candidate was up by 17 points there. And so a lot of the vote is in from the bluer areas of North Carolina. Now, there's still going to be more to be counted, but a lot more to be counted, like another 3.2 million votes or so. But I think
now, did he lose? Did he lose North Carolina last time?
No, I think he carried it by 1.1 points. So it was a slim margin, but he did win.
But he lost Georgia.
He lost Georgia by 11,800 votes or so, something like that.
Right.
The 11,000.
Lomi, I think they just did an update on Ohio, and I think he took the lead in Ohio. Now, did you see where
he's winning Ohio? That was just early vote.
Did you see where, with 88% of the precincts reporting in Florida, that marijuana and abortion are both getting beat?
Well, that's what happens when Trump pulls the numbers that he's pulling. I mean, that is not good for those amendments. And the fishing and homestead ones are going to pass.
Trump voted for 3.
Yeah, but here's the deal. There's 12% left. Abortion's at 58, and weed's at 55. And there's 12%.
Yeah, weed's not going to pass. Weed's not going to make up 5 points. Abortion, it's going to be very close. And if that 12% is in Leon, Broward, and I was going to say Hillsborough, but Orange County now, and I think maybe Gadsden or there's another county that's pretty blue. They're going to have to run it up, though. They're going to, with only 12% of the vote left, they're going to have, in order to make up 2 percentage overall,
they're going to have 20 percentage point difference.
Win it by double.
Yeah. I'm disappointed.
So
I'm disappointed.
It's not looking great.
I'm disappointed on both of those, man. I really am.
I'm surprised. I'm shocked, quite honestly. I thought it was going to be an easy one.
I'm more disappointed in abortion. Just shows you how fucking backward we are.
Well, no, it's Ron DeSantis and the money that he and his people put into both of those.
I'm over him.
He pretty much used state funds to campaign against an amendment. He used it politically. It was not a good move. Not a good move.
Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, 8% in, 71 to 28. Kamala.
Yeah.
8%.
But that was a huge dump of early mail ballots out of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
So the Hershey's and the rural areas,
the Scrantons.
and the Scrantons,
right?
They're not even in play yet.
The Butlers.
Yeah, no, the rural, the Amish country where you see those Amish Trump rally that they were having with the buggies and the flags. So they're going to go heavily for Trump.
Yeah.
So Brian, initially, what are they thinking? Dan, you're a doctor, and what are you thinking might be the issue here?
Stress, anxiety, and he's a vagina.
Dan, this isn't a time for personal attacks.
No, that was the diagnosis that the doctor gave me. He came in here and he goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Pussy."
Excuse me, but I'm diagnosing you with a little bit of stress with a side order of pussiness.
Well, I'm glad it's just that they were pussy. I'm glad that nothing's really wrong. And just all you got to do is pull up those bootstraps and man up, bitch.
I will now.
I'm glad you're okay.
I will man up.
Take some ivermectin too while you're at it.
Is your wife with you or no?
Fucking snowflake.
No, I told her not to come. I'm like, no, don't come. I'm a real man. I go to the hospital alone.
Right. So you're all there by yourself. I mean, watching Fox or CNN.
I'm relaxing. This is like a vacation right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you're automatically you don't have to go to work tomorrow.
So your family gave you your heart attack? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'll be in work tomorrow. I'm going to be out of here by 11, and I'll be in the office tomorrow. There's,
Should we come visit you after the show?
Yeah, flowers. Something.
I'll meet you guys at the dollhouse.
Balloons.
All
right, my man. Well, listen. Maybe
make it rain.
Maybe I've got the phone here. I'll give you guys a call if I see something that surprises me. But the Hillsborough County thing surprised me. That is pretty significant.
Virginia's Trump just took the lead in Virginia.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Now see, now hold on,
49-48.
Brian, that would be a little bit of an upset, would it not, if he takes Virginia?
Yeah, but I'm not looking at the map. I guarantee you the King George's County and the Washington, D.C. metro area, those votes aren't in yet. And when those votes come in, she'll win Virginia by 6 to 8 points.
Really?
Really?
Even though, okay.
Yeah, it was 10 last year for Biden.
Make sure you get one of those little oxygen tank on wheels.
Try
to call me about.
She's up about 11.7 in Jersey right now, so that ain't happening.
She's not going to win. He's not going to win Jersey. She's going to win.
They've already called Jersey.
Yeah,
they've already called it.
She's got that one.
Okay.
They already called it.
Yeah.
They've called Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Maryland, D.C., Vermont. One of the Maines. For her, which I don't understand that Maine and Nebraska, 2, 3, 1, 2 fucking bullshit. I don't
1972, it looks like they put something in for fair voting for the state.
Yeah.
So the way they do it is they award based off congressional district, and then the extra vote goes to whoever wins statewide.
I don't know.
So that's how they
There's
do it.
48 other states.
That's how they do it.
There's 48 other states that do it a different way. I think they should get on board, to be honest with you.
Or maybe the other 48 should go to their way. They split their votes.
I mean, you'd probably have a more
fair
electoral college winner every time. I imagine it would be more fair. I will be interested to see Iowa. I think he ends up winning by 3 or 4 points, but I think Iowa will be surprisingly close.
How about New Mexico?
No, he ain't winning there. He's going to win New Mexico.
He made a stop there a few days ago because he thought he had a chance. Or on his way to Arizona, he actually stopped in New Mexico.
Yeah, I think that was like, you stop in because you just literally land on the runway and have a little, dog and pony show for the people there that are your supporters, and you're hopefully helping down ballot, your governor, your AG, whatever else is up on
the Republican
side.
At the end of the day, man, I mean, what we're really, really probably it's all going to come down to is Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania. That's
Michigan. I'm sorry. Minnesota's going to go for
I'm sorry. Yeah, Minnesota's going for Waltz. So anyway, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Those are your three powerhouses right there.
Yep. And he's holding a pretty decent lead in Georgia. I know a lot of the votes still got to come in from
Fulton,
from DeKalb and Fulton and Cobb County and the Gwinnett but that's 300,000 is no joke. She's gonna have to work to make that up. He's going to win Georgia. I bet you he wins Georgia by like 50 to 70.
Now they're reporting Michigan with 7% reporting. She's up by 17 points with 7%.
Yeah, I got to imagine that's got some mail-in ballot numbers that are helping her.
Mississippi, he's already up by 14.
Mississippi's that's
right.
Mississippi's called for him.
Oh, is a call for him? Yeah. All right.
I think
Brian, maybe like 9-10 or so. Try to blow us a call in if you can.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Keep your chin up.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Poor Brian. I mean, I really wish he was here, but
me too.
And man, it sucks being in the fucking emergency room. You feel like you just.
You're half naked.
Especially when you're by yourself.
Right. You feel
right?
Like a loser. Yeah. You feel like a complete loser. No one loves you.
Let me work. The Fox is talking about Pennsylvania right now.
The cab.
This is Georgia.
Fulton.
Well, this is Georgia?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fulton.
Less square.
You see, Fulton, 70% of that vote is now in. So that's certainly one to watch. What about Gwinnett? All right, still at 16%. Kevin, go ahead and arm up and look at Cobb County, just to the northwest of Atlanta there. This is Newt Gingrich's old district, heavily Republican for decades. And around 2016, it flipped toward the Democrats. And right now, a little more than 50% of the vote in. So, Kevin, come on back down here a moment. One county I haven't checked in on, when you look at the African-American turnout, look at Chatham. Chatham is where Savannah is, down there along the coast. You only have 5% of the vote reporting. Chatham was one of these counties in 2020 that took forever to get the vote in. I don't know if that's going to be the same way again this year, but we're waiting to see about African-American turnout, as we suggested a moment ago, about African-American men supporting Donald Trump. Let's go ahead and look at the vote margin, for Georgia. The vote margin for Georgia right now, let's go statewide. So we move away from Chatham.
Why don't you give us a statewide?
In Georgia.
Statewide.
So Chatham's still at 5%. And
these guys aren't even on the. Come on, Fox, get your shit together.
This graphic is hard to understand.
Like
it really is awful.
What they should do, but hold on. What they should do is they should have the entire state.
That's really interesting about what's coming in. I think that these states, as these numbers come in, Democrats have high hopes about someplace like Texas, about something like Ohio, where they look at the Ann Seltzer poll from Des Moines and say, is this indicative of the Midwest? But we're not.
I'm going back over to CNN.
So, but is there, I like to see the statistic of, like, at this point, by what percentage point is Trump overachieving the polls?
North Carolina, I'm sorry, Ohio. Ohio's starting to hulk up now. 43% reporting he's up by about 60,000 votes. 50.9 to 49.3.
Baby blue eyes.
In a couple of key places, that would be Ingham County and Washington County, Jake. She's trailing the president, so she needs to. If you want to get your math up in Michigan, watch those in the hours ahead.
All right. Now let's check in on the all-important race to 270 electoral votes.
This is where we can make our map, right? We can do our map.
So with Donald Trump is in the lead.
I have more than
here with 105 electoral votes.
They're
Kamala Harris
stingy.
has 27 electoral votes. Obviously, 270
They're stingy.
are needed to win. We are far from that. Obviously,
Bubba, you're delayed.
Still in the
Go to
lead.
your thing because you paused it when we were on Brian.
Alert.
No, yeah. Just refresh
redo it like that?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because, you paused it. So.
It'll probably give me some.
You're 6 minutes behind.
Campaign. Thanks so much. Let's go to David Chalier now, who has some exit polls.
All right, here we go.
From Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona.
Next poll is closed in 15 minutes.
David, what stands out? You look at the data from these three key states.
Yeah,
This is Larry Bud Melman.
Critical battleground states. I wanted to look at Biden's approval rating just as sort of a baseline of the environment in these three states. Nationally, his approval rating has been updated to.
Who gives a fuck about Biden?
Nationally. In Arizona, you see here, Jake, he's at 43%. He's slightly above his national approval number in Arizona.
Why are we giving a fuck about Biden?
Because a lot of voters associate
again.
Kamala
why don't we
with
just
Biden's
give me
approval.
some straight hard stats?
It's a different story. His approval rating, the sitting president, Joe Biden, is at 38% in Wisconsin. That is below where he is nationally. 61% of Wisconsin voters in this election disapprove of the job Joe Biden's doing. That's a hurdle that Kamala Harris is going to have to jump here in.
Well, show us the numbers then, asshole.
All right, David Chalier, thanks so much. This would have.
That was a big nothing burger.
Race if Joe Biden had stayed in it. I mean, if it.
Critical battlegrounds: Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. Too early to call.
What I'm saying, but there's going to be a lot of finger pointing and recrimination.
Texas, 55% and 52.4 to 46.2 Trump in Texas.
That they don't approve of the president. I mean, it is brutal.
Now.
And there's no other way to look at it.
Trump's making a little bit of a comeback in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He's up 10.
Harris, despite the fact that she has been trying to separate herself,
Virginia's
despite the fact that
less
she
than a
is saying that she wants to turn the page and that she's a new generation and all the things that we've heard at every one of her.
Her picture looks pretty hot there. I'd fuck her.
A number that.
How many of you guys would fuck her? Just
they
to say you
photoshopped her neck though.
Her? Just to say you fucked her.
Kamala or Dana Bash?
Kamala.
Yeah.
Not horse-faced Dana.
No, an effective job in tying her to that administration, saying not just that she was the vice president, but that, look, you were in the room, you were always there. There were all kinds of...
Georgia, 57% precincts reporting 55 to 43.
Her gaffe on The View when she was asked, what would you have done differently over the last 4 years? And she said, nothing comes immediately to mind, which was probably not the best answer. Jake, if I can just...
CNN kind of taking a shit on Kamala.
I think everybody has, in life, in real life, and figuratively.
Electoral votes.
Right.
And Harris has got...
Look at Kansas.
But would you like
Look at Kansas, 30% voting, and she's winning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But he's winning Maine.
There are no.
What about young Kamala? She was pretty hot, though, don't you think? Young Kamala?
Has broken the serve, if you will.
Bubba? Right.
All the states that Trump won in
ghetto for me.
Are states that he won in 2020. All the states that Harris won are states that Biden won in 2020. There's been no swing state that has been flipped yet, and there is every.
You tan people stick together.
The states roll out.
We had to. We had no choice.
Republicans get a lot of the early falls and a lot of big red states.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been any dramatic change in this vote. They're both on track to 270.
Yeah.
North Carolina,
North
Carolina, 30% reporting 53 to 45 Trump.
To be at this.
And he needs that. Like North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona are absolutely musts.
I mean, there are plenty of places with a lot of delegates that would not delegates, electoral votes that Democrats
officially.
Trump has pulled ahead in Virginia.
Abortion got beat.
Abortion weeder officially beat.
That's bullshit. Yeah. That really fucks my night up.
Trump pulled ahead by a point in Virginia.
Rally there, and people went, "What's he doing?"
Doesn't that really suck, Seth? This shows you how fucking backward we are.
I mean, it was pretty close, but it's surprising. I thought both would get cleared with no problem.
I thought at least abortion would.
Virginia. Is she going to win the
Not everybody wants to get high, but every woman wants to have the right.
In 2016, or is she going to win it the way that Joe Biden won it with 10 points in 2020? And I think that there can be something discerned from her.
Oh, man, look at Virginia. 45% reporting. He's got a 2,000 vote lead, 49.1 to 49.0.
I mean, these rays are thin.
Oh,
Earlier,
my God,
we were looking at the returns coming in from the blue wall state.
Now, Virginia, Lummy, was not predicted to go his way, I don't think.
No, it was not.
If Virginia does go his way, then all of a sudden his path just starts easing up.
Pennsylvania, 68.1 to 31.0 with 13%. Reporting. Brian says that actually is pretty encouraging. He thought the distance might be more. Mm-hmm. These are all just mail-in early votings from Pennsylvania for the most part.
Most of these paths, Kamala Harris winning the White House without Pennsylvania, and you see there 68%. That's what she has now. It is still extremely early, only 13% in.
They still haven't. They have voted. They haven't counted the Amish.
In the past, we traditionally been giving Virginia to Kamala.
Yes. Yeah. In the past.
So that's going to be a huge surprise. How many electoral votes do they have? Like 12?
13.
13? Virginia's got 13. Here we go. I don't know if this has changed at all. The Newsmax prediction, Willie. Not really has changed, but the 270 win, yeah.
What about the betting sites? Your my bookie.
I think those are locked in now.
Yeah, I think they're locked in now. I don't think you can.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you can change.
You want live bets over
Do you
there?
want to do a live line? Or?
No, I'm just wondering what the odds are. How the odds have changed as it gets closer to the end.
We got a lot of votes to
Michigan.
look at.
Michigan 8% in, 55-42 Harris with 8% reporting.
That we are watching. And that you are in
updated on the
charge of.
line.
What's that, Lemmy?
Trump minus 125.
So it dipped a little bit.
Yep.
It dipped a little bit.
Nope. It just shot up minus 350.
Hold on, minus.
I just clicked on it on my bookie.
What?
And it's at minus 350.
That's a lock-in.
That's a pretty good lock-in.
That's a
like
fucking lock-in.
It's like betting on Kansas City against the Bucks.
That's a lock,
that was
right?
a loss, by the way. It's plus 9 points.
That's
yeah,
right.
that's pretty much a lock-in.
Here we go.
And they were expecting about 100,000 absentee ballots in Detroit. But this is key. Because of changes in Michigan state election laws in 2022, they were able to begin counting those absentee ballots.
I think you could almost call North Carolina. And now he's starting to pull ahead in Ohio. I think you can almost, if you have a big purple headed, I think you can almost call North Carolina for Trump, I think.
Ballots, and they expect when those 8,000 come in over the next couple hours, it's not going to take them long to finish up that count. In fact, we heard a short time ago that here in Detroit, they expect that by midnight tonight or perhaps a bit after, they will have counted not just the absentee ballots in Detroit, but early voting ballots, and voting that took place today as well. So you're seeing the effects of that law, which allowed...
The next polls close in about 8 minutes.
Last Monday. One more note, and this is important, Aaron, because in 2020, this site in downtown Detroit became the scene of protests and unfounded claims of fraud in the midst of that frantic absentee ballot counting, in part because of you have...
Fish on the J, $50, PayPal. Thank you.
We're not seeing any...
Lots of great people Brenda Allen, just lots of great people
Mark
on PayPal tonight. Mark from Tarpon, big, huge.
Keith Yeager, Trump in Ohio, $500.
Well. Oh my God, thank you. These one-off shows just straight killing it. By the way, payrolls next week. We're going to make it.
Right, very quickly, we'll see. And they have said they expect to be overall for the state of Michigan faster than last year, which of course was the day after midday. Secretary of State said she hoped it would be a little bit earlier than that. We'll see as the count comes in. Kyung La is at a Maricopa County counting facility. Maricopa County,
Arizona,
early
results in Arizona.
In the country, as they say, Kyung, one of the most important counties for the entire election.
Georgia at 60% now.
For the entire election. That's why you have so many reporters here. That's why we're watching Maricopa County so closely. And let's take a look at the clock. We only have a few more minutes, about 7 more minutes before polls close here in Arizona. I want you to take a look at what we are watching, though, here at the county. What's happening here on that split screen, that other video that you're looking at,
Creed and Travis, $100.
Man, he's on fire tonight. Thank you, Creed.
Center. They are looking at the ballots. They are processing ballots. All of this is with the early.
Maine's got Trump up a point. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's on that
Arizona. We are
goodness.
anticipating to get the first results out of Arizona. That will be
Michigan with 8% reporting 55-42 Harris.
Till Election Day. And then as the night moves on, Aaron, those ballots that are out at the vote centers will be processed. They're counted, separated in there, and then brought over here to the tabulation center to be processed. And that information is going to start to come out as well.
All right, give us some data out of Arizona, sweetie.
Takes time.
Seth is defeated that Weed got beat. He is completely depressed.
Here in Maricopa
I'm just wondering
County.
why Brian from Philly said, Seth, wake the fuck up or go home.
Right here in Arizona, as we watch this clock wind down before polls close, is that there's still long lines at some of the spots that we are watching at some of these votes.
Come on, Brian.
$100.
Mesa Community College, where we were at.
Come on, Brian from Philly. We're all tired, my friend.
I'm just waiting. You guys are fucking talking. Like, what the fuck,
when
man?
polls close at 7
Don't get mad at us. I got to keep talking.
Which is
I won't
amazing,
talk anymore.
It's amazing that people are doing that and waiting.
Dr. Vermulak, 25.
That you said that everyone should be happy about, but amazing to sit there late at night, say, I'm going to sit and wait another hour or two to vote, as both campaigns hope they will. All right, Kyung, thank you very much. And let's go back to the voting desk. As these counts are coming in and people have questions about how it's happening, what's happening, where.
It's not, Pennsylvania's scaring me.
What are you seeing there?
Well, Aaron, I just got off the phone with this key swing county in Michigan from the county clerk, Anthony Forlini, and he tells me he's actually hopping in his car now with a police escort to get tabulator memory sticks because they're delayed with the results coming in. Why? Well, he says it's because there were very long lines when the polls were supposed to close at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so they had to delay closing and stay open until everyone had the opportunity to cast their votes. Officials are tabulating the results right now, but those first results from Macomb were supposed to be reported around 9 p.m., just 5 minutes from now. I'm told by the clerk it's going to be later than that due to the long lines. According to the clerk, there were over 122,000 early votes cast in person there and 182,000 mail-in ballots.
Talking about Michigan.
They're on track to have more than 200,000 mail-in ballots, he says. But given the high early voting turnout, he told me that the expectation there was that there would be lackluster turnout today. That is not the case in that key county. Overall in Michigan, let's look at the numbers here. The Michigan Secretary of State says more than 3.4 million voters cast their ballots early or by mail. That's nearly 47%.
I think high turnout helps Trump.
Oh, I think so too, because it's more motivating.
Polling centers today. Let's go over to Milwaukee. They've had some.
Let's go to Milwaukee.
His base was more
today.
motivated, I think, for this election.
They're going to have to retabulate about 30,000 ballots after problems with the counting machines were discovered.
Oh,
all
man.
13 tabulating machines are being set to zero.
Because they didn't get the results they wanted, so they're going to recalibrate the fucking machines.
The absentees would be done around midnight. Now it's more likely around 2 or 3 a.m. And then in Arizona, I spoke to a source there in Maricopa County, the largest county.
Which is the county that determines the entire election.
Says early ballots. The first release of 1.1 to 1.2 million ballots of those early ballots at about 10 p.m. Eastern tonight will only account for early votes through last Tuesday, October 29th. That is less than the initial estimate that the first drop would be comprised of ballots through at least Friday, they thought. So it's going more slowly there. One more thing I want to note, I'm told they're going to keep up 24-hour shifts in Maricopa to keep things moving. They understand how important it is to get those results out, those accurate results out as quickly as possible.
All right, Pam, thank you very much.
Bubba, isn't it incensing that these states, these jerk-off states, haven't figured out a way to get the votes counted within 2 or 3 hours for the entire state?
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Like for instance,
we
Florida.
could theoretically go to Mars.
I mean, Florida, we're done.
Done.
We have everything done. I mean, what 90, 92? I mean, like, I
2 hours. 2 hours took them. The whole fucking state.
Is Florida official now? I mean, like all
valid. Yeah, 92%. Well, it's 92%.
92%. You can start making designations as to who's winning and stuff. So if there's a lot of other states.
It's a big state. It's a lot of people and it's geographically large. And there's rural areas. There's no excuses for these other ass clowns.
Not going to end. No matter who wins Pennsylvania, it's not going to end a 30-point race. We just know that as we count more votes.
Trump is inching up a little bit in Pennsylvania. Not a lot, but he's gained like 3 points since the last time they showed the graphic.
He's pulled ahead pretty good in Ohio.
That's just early votes. The votes will come in. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. We're open to surprises here, but we'll keep a look at it. A surprise that has a lot of votes counted so far is Virginia. They're almost up to the halfway mark here, and Donald Trump is ahead in the state Joe Biden carried 4 years ago by 10 points. 10 points.
This would be that'd be a huge upset.
Get up to almost half of the vote is what's missing. Right, this is live outstanding votes. The larger the circle, the more votes are out.
Look at the blue that's missing though. Look at the blue that's missing.
So you see these big circles in Richmond and the suburbs. Huge.
Yeah, it's gonna go, Kamala.
In the Washington D.C. suburbs. So there are a lot of Democratic votes still to be counted. Vice President can't like that right now. You do not like being tied in battleground Virginia right now, but there are a lot of votes still to be counted.
You got a lot of blue that has not been counted.
Democratic. So we'll see.
In Virginia.
Test in North Carolina. Up to 38% of the vote. Trump with a narrow lead there. Let's just bring it up and look. Live outstanding votes. Again.
Oh, a lot of blue left on that, too.
In the Democratic areas. Charlotte, Raleigh-Durham, Winston-Salem, Asheville, and Wilmington down there. So you have a very competitive race right there right now. You'd rather be North
Carolina too close to call.
And again, this is one of the tightest of the battlegrounds. Virginia, a bit of a surprise, Jake. More counting elsewhere.
Do you think Kamala's
Bubba, they called a couple other states if you want to update it.
Yeah.
The big surprise.
All right, go ahead.
South Dakota.
All right, South Dakota.
North Dakota.
Let me find it. South Dakota and North Dakota. Okay.
Wyoming.
Okay.
And looks like Nebraska got one so far.
Nebraska. Okay, Nebraska gets one.
Yeah.
And now does Maine still have the one?
It looks like they might be calling it a hierarchy, $200.
A Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Hall of Famer.
It looks like they're calling Texas.
They're calling Texas?
Yeah, Trump.
Okay.
And Louisiana.
All right. That's what it's looking like. It's one.
Smart people
we
down
got
there.
it 169 to 61 is what we got in our 270 to win. Still, Georgia, too close to call. North Carolina, too close to call. Virginia, which is scheduled to go blue, Trump has a point lead, but there's a lot of blue metro that still's uncounted for. It's still, in my opinion, they're calling, I think Ohio's going to continue to trend red. It's going to come down to Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. We probably will.
You don't think Iowa's going to turn the whole election?
Not Iowa. No, fuck no.
I know. It made national news for no reason at all.
I think we'll end up leaving here and not know what the results are going to be. They're already posturing that Michigan's going to have a delay. Arizona may have a delay. I haven't heard about any delays potentially in Pennsylvania.
If you want to call also Massachusetts.
Okay, Massachusetts. I think I already did.
Okay, Rhode Island.
All right, Rhode Island. Okay.
Connecticut.
Hold on. Connecticut.
And Delaware.
And Delaware.
Delaware
Okay.
blue.
Yeah.
So that puts it at 169.75. So far, and I don't even know when the polls close in Hawaii.
Colorado has been called to
Kamala.
Harris, yeah.
All right, Colorado. So that's what we got so far.
Do you think she started drinking yet tonight?
Of course.
I don't think she stopped. To be honest with you, hold on. This is
people scrambling there at the Des Moines Register saying it was Harris lead by 3.
Yeah, the same day Emerson had him up by 10, but that got a lot of people's attention because Ann Seltzer is such a well-known and usually correct pollster. So we'll see how Iowa plays out tonight. In Nebraska, the Fox News decision desk can project that Trump will win.
Now, Lummy, they got 178 to 113, and we got 169 to 85.
And they got New York closed too.
New York. Of course, New York. Okay.
Right.
So that's the difference, right?
Yes.
Which is the blue dot that we have talked so much about. That is too early to call, but Harris has a lead there.
The Fox News decision desk can project that Vice President Harris will win New York, giving the vice president 28 more electoral votes. She also has a lead in Minnesota. Too early to call the state of Minnesota, which closed in recent days.
Minnesota's going to her.
Obviously, the vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, from Minnesota, and now Fox News can project a Harris victory in Colorado as well. She gets 10 more electoral college votes there. New Mexico, too early to call, but Harris has a lead according to our Fox News voter analysis in New Mexico.
Former President Trump will
usually
win,
goes blue.
which has voted for a Republican in every election this century. Pretty sure we were going to get that one. Trump also wins Kansas, adding another 6 electoral votes to his tally.
The former president will win North Dakota, a longtime conservative.
These are all ones that you gave me just a few minutes ago, right?
Yes, sir.
Which often mirrors the vote of his neighbor to the north.
And Fox News can project that the former president will win Wyoming, or 3 electoral votes. So there you see the tally on your screen, 178 electoral votes to 113. That map of the U.S. is slowly filling in.
Looks like bingo for
William Schneider, Lummy, 100. Where's the baby face? He's in the emergency room.
Yes, as well.
He's anxiety with a side order of being a vagina.
Too early to call this race, which we've been watching between incumbent Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, who is in a close race now with Republican banker and entrepreneur Eric Hovde.
Michigan Senate race also too early to call. Former GOP Congressman.
Let's see where they're going over here.
Will be up for grabs, and we're watching several crucial battlegrounds. CNN's going to bring you this projection right now. CNN projects
Texas. You told me that earlier, right, Lummy?
Yes, sir.
Texas, okay.
The state of Texas has expected to Donald Trump with its big bucket of 40 electoral votes. CNN also projects that North Dakota will go to Donald Trump.
Yeah, all this
as
is
expected. North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes.
Screen.
2 more for Trump now. CNN projects.
Refresh. Hoping to give me a pre-roll.
This is a 30-point race, just shy of a 30-point race in a state we know is going to be decided by 1 or 2 points. So we'll continue to watch to see. I check in on it just to see if the vote.
It's all coming down to Pennsylvania. I'm telling you that right now.
Same with Michigan. We come over. We're up to 10% here right now, 53 to 45. Again, if there's an 8-point lead,
she's leading them both.
Blowout. You expect this to be very close in the end. We're missing a lot, right? Earlier tonight, Grand Rapids was red for Donald Trump. That's Kent County out here. Right now, you see it's almost a tie right there. This is one of the battlegrounds within the battlegrounds. Fiercely, formerly reliably red, now a closely fought suburban area around Grand Rapids. We'll keep an eye on that. But still nothing out of Wayne County, Detroit. I just want to come up here to Ingham County. This is where Michigan State is. If this ends the night there, Donald Trump's going to feel very good about his Michigan chances, but we're at 3%.
Michigan State Spartans are red.
State capital, government town. Should be blue by the end of the night. If it's not, that would tell you something huge. So let's come to where we have more votes in these battlegrounds. Again, I just want to check on Virginia again. This is our surprise at the moment. We're up to 50%.
See, they're saying even Virginia's a little bit of a surprise.
A narrow lead. I did this a moment ago. I just want to do it again for people at home. Most of the outstanding votes, these circles tell you, the larger the circle, the more outstanding votes. We're still waiting to be counted. And
if you take all the little red ones, they'll equal the big blue one.
We see a lot of blue up here. Virginia now has become a blue state because of the Washington, D.C. suburbs of Northern Virginia. The places, the counties, within 25, 35 minutes, depending on traffic, drive. So that's out there, plus Richmond and the suburbs around there. We'll see. Donald Trump is remarkably...
They got Kansas. They got Harris ahead in Kansas.
Something about what's going to happen to its south in North Carolina. They're not twins, but they're very similar, Virginia and North Carolina. North Carolina actually has a higher African-American population. So if you're the vice president, that's part of your base. Here's Donald Trump with a lead, 41% reporting. Again, should the Harris campaign be nervous? Both campaigns will be nervous about battleground North Carolina. It's going to go back and forth. But again, you see, there's still some large pockets of Democratic votes. Also some pretty good-sized pockets of Republican votes in a battleground state. This one's going to take...
I actually think CNN's doing a better job. at covering it than Fox, in my opinion. We're going back and forth.
We're up to 68% of the vote in Georgia. And you have
68% of the vote in Georgia, 53 to 46.
Thirds of the vote counted. You start to feel good about a lead that big, especially in a state that was, 11,700 votes 4 years ago. But let's see what's left out
for
Where
Trump.
Are the outstanding.
What?
They got Kansas called for Trump.
Oh.
In the Harris campaign.
That's weird.
You're nervous. You're checking in with all your field captains and your precinct and your county people.
Oh, look at all that
you
blue.
See right there. You see those giant circles right there and a bigger circle, another big circle over here. There are still a lot of.
That's the Fulton fuckery right there.
Fortunately,
supposedly there's a bunch of bomb threats in Georgia.
I just want to come back and make one more observation here. You see that 242,000 vote lead. It is a little after 9 o'clock on Tuesday night. If you go back to 2020, Donald Trump was leading Georgia by 244,000 votes at 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, election night in 2020. It was 244,000 votes then. It's 242,000 votes.
Oh, man, that does not look good for him. Right?
You need to count.
He's 2,000 votes less ahead at the same time last time.
Florida.
And he got beat by 11,000.
It's gone back to where you expect it to go back, and that lead seems to be
Statistically,
growing.
that doesn't make
Want to just
a
check
difference,
in again
I don't think, Bubba.
On this.
Statistically, if it goes the same way as it did 4 years ago, he loses by, 8,000 or 9,000 votes.
This is an exercise. This is an exercise. But you see Trump leading in North Carolina and Trump leading in Georgia. I just want to switch the map here and come over to the race for 270. Okay? This is an if. This is an if.
This is an if.
Nowhere near there. We have a lot of votes to count there. But why is this so important? When you take battleground states off the board, when we're able to project and call them, it changes the chess of getting to 270. If Donald Trump were to hold that, he's leading there now. It's close. It's close. There's plenty of votes still for the vice president to catch up. We have to wait and see what happens. But if Donald Trump takes those two, the vice president of the United States needs to win that. That's what makes the math interesting. She needs that 19 votes right there, because if Donald Trump gets that, it gets him to the finish line. So if that happens, that becomes essential. We're not there yet, Jake, but we just like to do the math in our head as we go through the scenarios.
All right, John King and CNN.
Why aren't you taking in Arizona and Nevada in consideration?
It projects that Kamala Harris will win the state of Delaware. Delaware, as expected,
well, we knew that.
Will go to Kamala Harris with its 3 electoral votes.
3, don't bust me up.
Let's take a look at the electoral vote count. Donald Trump has 154 electoral.
And she's got, but they're way.
Votes,
I mean, they are stingy as fuck on CNN, are they
sure
not?
Are. Jesus.
Electoral votes are needed.
Let me go back over to Fox, where I can get us a little bit more up to date here.
Off the ballot, the court said no, you got to be on the ballot. He's drawing 2,455 raw votes. Okay, now if Michigan is that close, it's just something that we're going to have to watch throughout the night to see whether or not this is some sort of spoiler for the red team and whether or not it helps out Team Blue in Michigan so far. So that's for you, by the way.
Let's interact with the panel here. Yes. Trey Gowdy's here. What about that point about third party? RFK Jr. tries. First of all, the Democrats try to prevent him from getting on the ballot.
Jesus, how many people they need on the desk?
Try to prevent him from getting off the ballot. Now, he's on the ballot in Michigan and Wisconsin, also Minnesota. But Michigan and Wisconsin, obviously, if it comes down to really tight, that could make a difference.
Why would anyone vote for someone who doesn't want to be the president and has asked you not to? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who are these 0.4% that are voting for some
idiots?
Begged you not to vote for him. If you want to see him in Washington, don't vote for him. But it reminds me of Jill Stein. I mean, I think Jill Stein cost Hillary Clinton a state. I know that Ross Perot cost Bush a presidential election. I was in the green room, Brett, doing what I did in high school, which is finding the 2 smartest kids in the class and sitting in between them and looking on their papers. That's McCarthy and Rove. There may be a 269 tie. I know nobody wants to hear that.
Wow.
There is a scenario under which there will
Any
be
other
a
topic
tie.
for discussion tonight?
Sean, you want to move on?
Yeah, I think we can move on from that.
That freaks everybody out. It's a 269 tie because I think it goes to the
House.
It goes to the Speaker of the House. Or no, it goes to a House vote.
Right.
Right?
Very
right now, the House is
dysfunctional
Republican.
House, but I think they could coalesce around that, yes.
I think they would.
It goes to this House, not the future House.
Years ago,
The current House.
Correct.
it was a while before we sensed that the Trump upset was happening. And one of the earliest indicators we got was from the betting odds, which I was
Oh, here you go. Here, let me. We're getting
on
it.
the panel that night. By the time you got to me, about everything smart had been said. So I started talking about the betting odds. Well, I've followed them ever since. Tonight, as we started this broadcast, Trump stood a 58% chance, according to the betting odds, of winning the election. As I read this off the screen now, 69.2%. So whoever's doing the betting out,
it's gone up.
It has gone up.
Increasingly of the view that he will win the election.
And how much does it impact it that, it's the first year that you're seeing some of these betting markets in the United States? Because there's a lot of people who are playing them probably in a fundamental way.
These odds, composed by Maxim Lott and John Stossel, are from Betfair, Markets, Predicted, Polymarket, Kalshi, and
It's a basket.
It's a basket. It's an average.
Dana, what are you looking at?
I am looking at some of just on X, watching some of the Democrats complain about the Electoral College. And, about a week ago, there was some conventional wisdom that she could actually win the Electoral College, but that Trump would win the popular vote. And then there would be no complaints about the Electoral College from them if that were to happen. So obviously it's too soon to call, but I'm certainly watching that to see what they're going to say. Plus, I have been wondering about Kamala Harris and this whole decision of Biden to run again when she knew that he was incapable, but they were still asking their donors, give us all your money. He's okay for 4 more years. And obviously he wasn't. But then that did not leave her enough time. Apparently, that's another complaint that they have for her to introduce herself, even though they had over.
I don't know, man. Fox has got him rung in, and I don't see it. CNN. If you watch CNN. They still got. I still think
CNN has been doing these things for more years than Fox has, and has a lot of experience. Sure. I think they're being a little bit more careful before they're calling things.
I think I agree.
Playing off of Dana's point.
But I do think.
Well, they got it 154 to. CNN's got a 154 to 30.
Right.
Trump, and meanwhile they got it 178 to 113. Fox running loose on both sides of the fence for her too,
After the one with Jesse Blue, the question about when she first knew that he.
Let's go over to CNN.
In the suburbs, Waukesha, just
you're delayed, Bubba.
Am I getting delayed?
Yeah.
Jesus, I guess as soon as I go over there, I
know
it's just a constant refresh, Willie. Maybe I should just stick with one of them. But I feel like
it's still 3154.
Yeah.
Right. Her question marks in Michigan are young voters and Arab American voters, right? You find the young voters here.
But the longer they take to call it, the longer they have the audience.
You say, "Wow, that's a 30-point lead."
You're right
what
on
are
that.
you worried about that for? Well, you're worried about it because the president of the United States had that.
Rebecca Hilton,
it's a county
15.
where
Thank
if you
you.
want to win Michigan. Joe Biden won by 154,000 votes, so you could say she has some to spare, if you will. She can lose a little bit in the coalition, but you don't want to lose a lot. And I was at the Michigan campus just last week, and they have a very aggressive
they're calling Ohio now.
operation there.
They're calling Ohio?
Yeah.
All right, hold on, let me go.
J.D. Vance.
Shut up, Dan.
Looks like Babyface is on the warm line.
All right, Babyface on the warm line. We actually get the best information from Babyface.
Yeah.
Because Fox and CNN just go back and forth, and it's just a big trying to glue you here as long as you possibly can. What do you got for us, Babyface, straight from the St. Joe's Hospital bed?
So she's underperforming in Washita, which is where University of Michigan is located, Washita County in Michigan.
Right.
She's underperforming Biden by 20 points in terms of the margin that he ran up against Trump. So she's going to need those votes. And that's not looking great for her there right now. There's still about 2/3 of that vote to be counted, but it's not a negligible part of that vote that's in. Also, I saw the exit polling numbers out of Wisconsin are not good for her. I think she's more likely to lose Wisconsin than she is even Michigan at this point.
And if she loses Wisconsin and he takes Arizona and Nevada, he doesn't even need Pennsylvania.
No, she's done. She's done if she loses Wisconsin.
Right now, CNN is reporting 10% of the. 10% of the Wisconsin votes are in, and she's up 52, 40, 48 or something.
Yeah, those first 10% are
really
misleading.
Come down to how she does with the Green Bay area, the areas like that. Not the strong.
Well, the only black people in Green Bay are the Packers, the guys who play for the football Green Bay Packers. Those are the only black guys in Green Bay.
But no surprises. No surprises. Yet.
I mean, do you think
Virginia could be a little closer, but not really.
You don't think he holds on to Virginia?
No, not a chance in hell.
BPR member, $20.
He's going to lose Virginia by about five points when all is said and done, which is still better than he performed last year, which is why she had no chance in North Carolina, and why she's going to lose North Carolina.
He's continued. 30 minutes ago he was at 29% in Pennsylvania, and now he's at 40.
You see the rural areas are starting to fill in on the map, so that's to be expected. He's going to close that gap. I mean, Pennsylvania's going to come down to a 1 to 2 point difference, even inside of a percentage potentially.
Now here's something. They got Kansas at 50% reporting, and she's up 2 points in Kansas.
Yeah, but those 50%, a lot of those votes came in from the Kansas, the college areas, Lawrence. When that state fills in, I will say the Midwest, because of his tariffs, the Midwestern states will be closer than I think they were in the past elections for him. But he will still carry Iowa, but it will be closer. He will still carry Kansas and Nebraska, but they will be closer than they have been because of his tariffs. The farmers don't want them.
Do you think he ends up taking Wisconsin, like you said? Or I'm sorry, Michigan.
It's way early for Michigan and Wisconsin. There's still a lot that can happen, and not enough of the vote is in. But if I'm him, I'm feeling good about things. I mean, her margin is 0. She's got 0 margin without.
She's not.
North Carolina.
She's underperforming Biden's 2020 results. Is she not?
Yeah, in a lot of areas. I haven't seen an area where she's overperformed yet. Florida was a blowout. Losing Hillsborough County is shocking to me. Now, granted, demographically, the county's changed, but that's shocking. I mean, underperforming, obviously, in Virginia to this point. Again, she'll still take Virginia, and CNN's making a big deal out of it because it's fun for them. But they know she's going to win Virginia. It's just, the margin is not going to be what Biden's was. But she's going to lose North Carolina by more than Biden lost it. She's going to probably, at this point, I think, lose Georgia. And Arizona's going to, I mean, her prayer is Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That's it. If she can hold those, she'll hold the election. She'll hold the presidency. She'll win the presidency. And if she loses any of those, she's done.
If she loses any of them, she's got to win. She's got to sweep all 3 at this point.
House 83, 20.
That's it. That's it. That's her only hope.
And
CNN,
going to win
any of these other battlegrounds.
And CNN is way stingier.
Are they even giving her New York yet?
CNN's got her at 30.
Yeah, they haven't given her New York.
And him at 154. Meanwhile, damn it! If you go to Fox, I dropped my mouse.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, let me find it.
Do you need help?
No, I'm good. If you got, but I.
What's the help?
No, it's just a whole shit. Over there. Okay, here we go. If you go to Fox, Fox has got him at 195 and her at 113.
That's part of that's New York.
I know.
Yeah, I mean that adds in New York, Connecticut, a bunch of the states that CNN's been hesitant. I think CNN's doing it because they want to get their viewers all frothed up.
Right.
And, oh my God, it's a blowout. It's all.
We were watching Fox a few minutes ago, and they were saying that. What did they start? Vegas or the odds had him at 50 at 58 when it first started, and now he's at 63 or something.
No, the odds?
Yeah. Remember the guy?
It was minus 130, then it went to minus 350.
Yeah.
Minus how much?
350.
350.
Wow.
I
mean, the numbers aren't good for her. She's underperforming Biden's numbers, which you expect. I mean, she's essentially running as an incumbent, even though she's not. She's running against Biden and her. I mean, she sort of is. It's weird, right? Is that we haven't had an election like this ever.
So we haven't had an election to get her there.
Yeah, well, that's the way the parties get to choose their stuff. So it's a messed up system. Our system's broken and does need to be replaced. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't I don't feel great if I'm in the Harris camp right now, because there is, like, any hope of winning North Carolina has got to be gone at this point. Like, you're looking at the numbers, she's down like 6 points, and it ain't coming back. And then seeing how she's underperformed in Virginia, underperformed in Florida, underperformed in even Jersey, even though she's going to win that, and these other areas, it scares you because her margins were so small in these states like Michigan and Wisconsin. She only had 100,000, 200,000 vote mark cushion.
I mean, when they start calling North Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, when they make those two calls, and then they start swinging it out west, and maybe they call Arizona. I don't know that Nevada's didn't really matter, but they're saying, I think we saw earlier where they're going to have some delays, and was it Michigan, Lummy? They were going to have delays or something like
Michigan
that.
And Georgia.
Wisconsin, they had to.
Michigan right now. Oh, hold on. He's only down by 9 in Michigan right now with 12% reporting.
Yeah, I don't know that Wayne County has any of their vote in. That's the Detroit area. She's relying heavily on that to win this.
North Carolina, 51% reporting. He's up by 2. 50 is 50.7 to 48.1. Georgia.
Yeah, I think that they just had a huge dump in North Carolina from some very blue areas.
Georgia, 71% reporting, 52.9 to 46.4. I think you could almost call that.
Paper Tiger polling, $10.
The outstanding vote is still that Fulton County, Cobb County area. So I mean, it's going to be close in Georgia, but he'll end up winning it by around a point and a half in Georgia. It was, I mean, they did do a great get out the vote. I mean, she campaigned heavily in Georgia for a while.
She tried. Absolutely. She tried really hard. I commend her for that. She did put some, she did so much more work at the end of her campaign than Biden did 4 years ago, because he really did nothing. And I do have to commend her. Well, yeah, I have to commend her though for at least working hard the hustle, especially the last couple of weeks. She really did. And she did have to run a 1.5-year long campaign, but she definitely did hustle the last 10 days.
Lummy, I'm giving Ohio to him. He's 10 points ahead of Ohio.
Yeah.
with 60%. So I had Ohio locked in anyway.
Yes.
If you look early in Iowa, she's up 10 points.
Yeah, I know. And she's also up in Kansas right now too.
Kansas is cold though.
Yeah, that's about a third of the vote. I mean, it's going to fill in, and he'll end up winning those. But the margins are not going to be what they were for him. His policy is impacting him because they don't really care about the. If anything, they want some immigrant workers in Kansas to help with their farms and stuff. So who knows?
Yeah,
we do know. We know it's going to happen across the country. It's 3 states right now that we're looking at.
Would it be safe for us to say we could probably just end up going home because we're not going to know? This is not going to be anything that we find out tonight.
Not until after midnight.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be late. Yeah, because the major counties. I mean, Michigan and Wisconsin are not going to have their votes done in a timely fashion.
Neither is Georgia, and Georgia's going to be late for that Fulton County fuckery. You know that.
I'd rather have you guys fresh for tomorrow so you can cover it, in depth, than to all be wasted and wrecked and not have gotten anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we were to go ahead and wrap this up, because it is getting late and it's looking like, listen, it's going to come down to 3
Can
states.
we at least get Georgia or Virginia?
Yeah, we'll wait.
Yeah, because it looks like it's 60%.
We'll wait for Virginia and Georgia and North Carolina. We'll wait for those 3, and if anything comes in during that interim, then we'll fill those in as well. But I think at the end of the day, Babyface, it's all coming down to Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And I don't think that's gonna be known until maybe even tomorrow.
Yeah, I think by tomorrow morning we're going to have a very clear picture of things, or a much clearer picture in terms of almost all the vote will have been counted by then. But I don't know that you're getting there before midnight tonight.
So what is okay, here's North Carolina. North Carolina right now. Oh, is that the way? Oh, only 10% reporting.
Chambers Trucking, $10.
64 to 31. What is your? I mean, obviously it's way too early to call. A lot of shit could happen. But if we were to say goodbye to you, what would be your prediction? But when we wake up tomorrow morning, who's going to have won?
So if I'm going based off of the way she's underperformed across all the other states that she's been in, I don't see how she can win. However, she pretty much bet her entire campaign on those 3 states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. That's where she spent all of her time, all of her effort, and all of her money. So we're going to see if it made a difference there. Based upon the way, the betting markets have gone, that's pretty telling that minus 350 is, they're saying essentially he's 60-70% likelihood of winning on this. And, I can't say I disagree. I thought he was going to win. And
oh, no.
Flatline.
Biggest Bubba Army, $10.
Thank you, Brian. CNN.
He's helpful, and he's right. He's
the most informed of all of us.
Yes,
and God, we needed him tonight.
Yes, he would have been helpful, but it would have been a lot of him.
There,
but he's right, and the bottom line is that as we are looking at these earlier numbers, her numbers are underperforming what Biden did 4 years ago. And because of that small margin in those really critical areas goes bye-bye, and then Trump takes it.
And the state decided by 11,000.
73% of Georgia, 52 to 46.
41,000. You start to think, we're about 75% of the vote. Are we at the point of no return? Well, let's take a look. Number one, how many votes does it take to win Georgia? Donald Trump's leading right now with 2.1 million.
Pay attention to this.
Joe Biden won it in 2020 with 2.4 million and change, and we hear turnout is pretty good down there. So it could be somewhere around that, could be a little higher than that, number one. So you start there. And then number two, Jake, you just apply, what are we waiting for? Right? And look at the size of the blue circle.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
Doesn't mean the vice president's going to come back and win Georgia. It just means everybody take a breath. And let's count votes. Because you see Atlanta and the suburbs around it, where most of those big circles are.
Is that what's still left?
In a place like Fulton County, where, 78% reporting in Fulton County. That's actually interesting. We'll see what comes out.
Well, then maybe your bubbles aren't so fucking accurate now, are they?
The bubbles
He's
are
running
misleading.
at 73% right
Venn
there.
diagram bullshit.
Look at that. 72.6. 72.6.
That's funny.
It's a mirror image right there. So I always look at the ones a little bit farther out.
Well, that sucks. If she's performing the same as Biden did, that means it might be the same outcome.
It's going to be a bunch of suitcases showing up in the middle of the night.
The question is, can he improve, is really the bigger question. I keep focusing on.
If that happens, you going to the Capitol building tomorrow?
I'm going on January 5th.
To Gwinnett. He's at 39% right now, and he was at 40% there. He's close. But those little tiny margins can matter. But again, 16% of the vote there. So we got a ways to go. That's a healthy lead for Donald Trump. There's a lot of votes still.
But I think he had a healthy lead in 2020, did he not, Lummy? At this time,
we went to bed thinking he won.
Yeah, we went to bed thinking he won Georgia and won the election, and he lost both.
In Georgia. Pamela, what do you like?
Probably be the same thing tonight.
Off the phone with Gabriel Sterling, a key election official in Georgia. He says, give or take, there are 1.5 million outstanding votes still in Georgia. Again, give or take, not a precise number, but around that. Let's zoom in here on Gwinnett. This is a Democratic stronghold. They are significantly delayed, according to Zach Mann.
Oh, of course they are. Delayed.
There's an issue with their adjudication software for the write-ins on the ballots.
Oh, God.
And so that is why we're seeing such a low number. Now, overall in Gwinnett, I'm told there are 419,000 votes there. So that was as of 6:30. He says that number is likely going to go up. Out of that breakdown, the at least 400.
You know, there's always some kind of fuckery going on.
96,000
but why is it always in
votes
the
in Gwinnett,
same areas?
322,000 early votes. So if you look at the numbers here, the rough estimate of 16% of the estimated vote in, there are still roughly more than 350,000 outstanding ballots just in Gwinnett alone. And then you put that into the bigger picture of what I just said from Gabriel Sterling, that there's still 1.5 million outstanding ballots in Georgia, give or take. Jake?
And we actually have a correspondent slash anchor in the Gwinnett County Election Center in suburban Atlanta, Victor Blackwell. Victor, what can you tell us about
Victor Blackwell? Tell us, buddy.
So let me tell you what's happening right now. Zach Manifold, who Pam just mentioned, the supervisor of elections, is on the phone right now with Brad Raffensperger, explaining what the delay is. As Pamela said, it's a problem with the adjudication of some of those write-in ballots. We spoke with him just a few moments ago at the 8:15 news conference here, in which he said there was some delay in processing those and getting those 322,000 early in-person and absentee mail-in ballots to the state tabulation center, to that computer. It statutorily had to be there by 8 p.m. He says that it was just the computer system clicking down to identify the names in the write-in column for president, specifically for that race. And
that girl ain't doing shit in the back. Look at her.
So right now there are from Gwinnett County about 72,000 votes, still about 250,000 of the early in-person votes and those mail-in absentee votes that were supposed to.
If I was in charge of this precinct, I mean, I knew we were going live on CNN, I'd tell every one of my workers, act like you're doing fucking something.
And explain to the Secretary of State's office what they're doing and probably look for some guidance on how to move forward, Jake.
All right, Victor Blackwell in Gwinnett County. And John King, as happens every election, human beings are fallible, machines all the more so.
Right, which is why you want trusted officials to deal with the problem when it arises. And we know from 2020, Georgia happens to be a Republican Secretary of State, and these local county officials, they know what they're doing. And they have a
No, they do not.
A plan, right? They have a problem, you try to find it a solution. So where is Victor Blackwell? He is right here. He's in Gwinnett County, one of the most important suburbs in the Atlanta area, to the northeast of Atlanta.
Only 16% reporting.
The vote report.
That's where the fucker he's going to go, right there.
So a long way to go in the count, Jake. And this is a place where, again, with Donald Trump with a pretty healthy lead statewide right now, that's what you're waiting for. You get a giant basket of votes reported from there. It gives you.
He's only up 200,000.
State of the race.
Yeah, but these
All right,
baskets
John King,
show up over the next 2 hours, and all of a sudden everything changes.
People at home. CNN can project that New York.
Well, no shit. We called it an hour ago.
Harris will be the winner of the 28 electoral votes offered from the Empire State. Let's take a look at the electoral vote count now. Donald Trump in the lead, 154. Kamala Harris with 81. 270 are needed to win. Neither of them is there as of yet. Let's go to Abby Phillip at Harris campaign headquarters.
Well, maybe we'll see
in
Alex.
Washington, D.C. on the campus of Howard University. Abby.
Yeah, Jake, this group here has been here for a little while now, and they've been watching the returns as they've been coming in. You're hearing them right now cheering as they're seeing you. A little bit delayed. Calling New York for Kamala Harris. They want some good news tonight. I can feel the anxiety in the crowd. These are all people who want to have a party. They want to celebrate. There's been a DJ playing all night long. But the results are coming in, and they're coming in slowly. But each time a race is called for Harris or she's shown in the lead in one of these battlegrounds, it is a big moment for the folks here at the Kamala Harris headquarters. And Jake, as I'm talking right now, you can probably hear me talking to you. But the crowd, they're excited. They're ready to go tonight. They want to see more reporting and results that they like to see. Back to you, Jake.
All right, Abby Phillip in Washington, D.C. in the campus of Howard University, where Harris is holding her campaign headquarters right now. Let's go to West Palm Beach, where we find Caitlin Collins at Trump HQ. Caitlin.
Yeah, Jake, I should note, obviously we are all still watching these numbers come in. There is no celebrating happening yet inside the Trump campaign. But one thing that is giving them a confidence boost this hour are the numbers that you and John King were just going over in Virginia. They were looking at that very closely, comparing it to President Biden's numbers there in 2020, and it is making them feel good tonight, lifting their spirits. Now, no one is saying that this is obviously anywhere near over yet. They are still watching very closely.
This is her from Mar-a-Lago?
All of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Donald
Just
Trump
the
calling
fact that
into
she's
radio
at Mar-a-Lago is
shows
telling.
in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And
she is hot.
He's
she's
at his
covered in the
Mar-a-Lago
winter.
club. He just spoke to supporters briefly, Jake, but as he's talking to the people who are at Mar-a-Lago, who's also getting constant updates from his own campaign.
Maybe Hogan's in there going to take his shirt off.
Watching a few key indicators, including the turnout from black males in Georgia and in other states, but also just watching those numbers in Virginia. We'll see, Jake, of course, if that pattern continues throughout the night.
All right, Caitlin Collins, thanks so much. John King?
I think Brian's right. I don't think he's going to hold on to Virginia, but he probably, and I don't think he may not hold on to Georgia.
Looking at a map now, there are a lot of Democrats looking at this map and saying, wow, we're having a great night. I would just say, be cautious, enjoy the moment, but just be cautious. Why do I say wow? Well, at the moment, we touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
The vice president is still leading statewide in Nebraska.
70% left on that deal.
In congressional district, which is right here. Nebraska, one of two states that awards electoral college votes based on congressional district. Only 30% of the state. You see all this gray.
I think there's only 5 votes, though, right?
Beautiful parts of Nebraska that tend to vote for Donald Trump in overwhelming numbers. So let's wait to see that one play out. But then you move.
Pennsylvania, he's inching up a little bit, 52 to 46, 30% reporting.
President of the United States, actually, no clear leader, but 47 to 43, I think, if I have it right, a little bit ahead of Donald Trump in what has been, since Barack Obama left the scene,
Hey, Bubba.
reliably.
What?
Pasco County Commission District 3, there was a write-in candidate, 26,447, 10%.
Me?
It just says write-in candidate.
County is Des Moines.
That's awesome, dude.
10%?
Yeah.
Better than RFK Jr.
26,000? Is that what it said?
Well, don't they add up all the writing candidates? Like,
Yeah,
it's
you're-
not just one name.
Yeah, you're probably. You
I
know
mean, I
what?
don't want to.
No, you're probably right. It's probably. You're probably right. Probably because there was a write-in section there, Seth. They just probably looped it all into one.
Yeah.
God damn it! I was fucking feeling good about.
But I mean,
myself.
you and some other jabronis took up 10% of that vote, Bubba.
Sure did.
But you know what?
Changed
Seth?
the election.
You know what? Hold on.
You got to
probably.
find those jobbers and take them out to lunch.
But you probably could go to the supervisor of elections and get a breakout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You probably,
Oh, absolutely. No, they have that data. They will.
Merch Creek do that. Go to the Pasco County Supervisor elections and say, I'd like a detailed District 3 write-in report, please.
What happens with Iowa?
That'd be great.
For quite some time. And just to put.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. The Missouri, the Nebraska, the Iowas, that's got me scared a little bit.
In a very long time. Again, let's be open to surprises, and we'll count votes. Now let's come in to the battlegrounds where we are waiting. Wisconsin is blue. It was red last time. Still very, very early.
18% reporting on Wisconsin, 47 to 51 Harris.
If, emphasis on if, you can win Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, hold that Nebraska congressional district I just showed you, then you're the President of the United States. All right? That's her easiest. No path is easy, but her easiest path is keep the blue wall. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. So let's move up Wisconsin so you can get a better look at home. She's ahead right now at the moment, but we're only 18% of the vote. And again, John's a broken record tonight, but I want you to look up at all of those gray areas, and I just want to remind you, in most of them, not all of them, but in most of them, you're in rural Trump country. So as you come back to the 2024 map and you say the vice president's ahead, that's where you want to be. You want to be ahead, but you've got a long way to go. So what are we looking for? I'm going to do this in reverse order. Because of the questions about young voters turning out, whether unhappiness with the White House over Israel-Gaza, Israel-Hamas policy would impact youth turnout.
University of Wisconsin.
In Dane County. That's the University of Wisconsin. Absolutely essential for any Democratic win.
All these young fucks want her.
Not just in the percentage, but with the raw math. So let's look. 38% of the vote. So a long way to go. Long way to go. Let's just compare it to the president.
Because the kids are just so fucking snowflaked.
Oh, they can explain their policy.
You're a Democrat, but keep an eye on that because the vice president needs to be as close to that as she can be. And at the moment, she's running a little bit behind that. That's Dane County.
4 points behind.
This is the biggest population center. Spent a lot of time here in the last year. The big question here is, do black voters turn out? And the subset question of that is, does Donald Trump make inroads, especially among black men? We did see some evidence of that in our several trips out to Milwaukee. At the moment, I was texting with somebody in Milwaukee earlier, by the way, who said they thought turnout was actually going pretty good for the Democrats. We'll see if that turns out. At the moment, 25% of the vote in, 66% if you round up, 32% for Donald Trump. So let's just go back in time knowing we have a long way to go. And Milwaukee sometimes reports late. But if you go back in time, Joe Biden again, 69%. Trump at 29%. So the 69% is what jumps out. Trump is a little above right now. Trump's a little above
keeps
where he was
underperforming compared to old
4 years
Biden.
ago. She's a little behind where the president was 4 years ago. It's only 25% of the vote. We're not pouring cement on any of this, but that's where you say, oh, we got to keep an eye on that as we go forward. Then you move over here, you go into the WOW counties, Waukesha, the biggest among them. This is a Republican suburb. Long has been a Republican suburb. The challenge for Democrats, I've been saying this about Trump in the battleground states that tend to lead in blue. Where's Trump's number in the suburbs? Can he compete? He's not going to win, but can he compete? That's the challenge for the vice president here. Waukesha County.
Justin Gavin,
tends to be a Republican
$50.
Thank you,
suburb.
Justin.
So there she is at 40%, Trump at 59%. Again, you go back in time, 59% to 39% 4 years ago. Welcome to another 20,000 vote race probably in the end in Wisconsin based on that. It's a 66% of the vote in there. It's essentially matching where we were in 2020. And again, just so you remember our history here in the blue wall, Harris is leading right now. We got a lot of vote to count right here, but I'm laughing a little bit just at the 22,000 number because if you look at that right there, Joe Biden won this state in 2020 by 20,000 votes. 4 years before that, when he cracked the blue wall and became president, Donald Trump won Wisconsin by 22,000 votes. Welcome to Wisconsin. It's a state that tends to hang around the margins of 20,000
Whatever that
votes.
Gary Johnson guy, he was pulling numbers.
Earlier, actually just put it up to 34,000 to shut me up.
Yeah, what does
There we go as we go through the count in Wisconsin, very early there. Let's come over to Battleground Michigan. Let me come back for a second. See that? If they stay that way, and it's early. Don't call your bookie. Don't make any bets. Don't pop the champagne. But you see Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, right?
That's all she needs.
A map where North Carolina and Georgia are red at the moment. They're not done either. But if you're a Democrat, you're kind of a little, should we be nervous about this? Then you should be, should we be optimistic about that?
Yeah, well, then you need to figure in Arizona and Nevada.
Number one, let's just start to the east and go west. Up to 32% in Pennsylvania. Long way to go. Just want to check on where we are.
Although in Pennsylvania, man, he's inching up.
He's inching up.
Is it 47 now, Lummy?
What the math is elsewhere.
I guess, yeah.
Go. But again, most of the rural.
Oh, shit.
47.3.
He remember he was at 30 just about 45 minutes ago.
Michigan, we're still only at 14% in Michigan. And we have our first votes out of Wayne County. And it shows Donald Trump with the lead in Wayne County. If Wayne County's red at the end of the night, Donald Trump's winning the presidency in a landslide. We're at 1%. So that's unlikely to happen. The question is, where does it end up? This one's more interesting. Macomb County, but again, it's 500 votes. 506 votes. Trump wants to keep it somewhere around there. Go back in time. You see he's at 53%. If Donald Trump can win Macomb County, it keeps him competitive. Keeps him competitive in the state. The higher above 50 he gets, it matters. This is one of the signature key counties for Vice President Harris and her Michigan chances. Oakland County, the birthplace of Mitt Romney, used to be a Republican county when I started doing this. She's at 55% right now. They're just past half the vote. So look at the 55%. A little behind Joe Biden. That can matter. We're not done yet. She's only 55%. A little bit behind. Biden had 434,000 votes when he won the county.
Look at New Mexico. Remember, people told me I was fucking crazy about New Mexico. Did you see what New Mexico just came in at?
Yes.
He's up 1 right now.
Watch that number, but that number. Tiny changes in the margins can affect the battleground states. So Trump's
before we leave tonight, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia.
They're all red.
Keep an eye on that.
Newsmax and Truth Social are reporting they went red.
I was already over there earlier. Let's come back out and see.
Truth Social's got L.A. going red too, bitch.
Rumble.
Yes, let me tell you something. I'm going to win California too, even if I don't win it. I'm going to win
Puerto Rico went red.
I'm going to win it on Truth Social. I'm going to win Guam too. As a matter of fact, I did see where Guam had they have some type of
primary.
Yeah, they have some type of election, and it's never, I don't know how many years gone Republican, and it went Republican for the very first time.
Wow.
Guam, whatever Guam, whatever.
And the Sunbelt states, which used to be reliably red and are now battleground states at the moment, are red. So we'll just check in, see if any.
Where is Guam?
It's in the middle of the Pacific, in the middle of nowhere.
The president's lead is 204,000. It was 204.
Like out by Hawaii?
Like further
President's
south.
lead has come down a little bit.
Do we own it?
It's a territory.
4 years ago.
Like if
Donald
Hinchcliffe
Trump-
would have made a Guam joke, everything would have been
Hell
cool.
yeah. If he would have said Guam, we'd be fine.
Because there's
votes were all
5 people
counted.
from
Doesn't mean
Guam.
that's
Still,
there's
none
no
of them
there.
vote.
Oh,
You'd
Bubba, it
rather
looks
be
like
ahead than behind?
they did a straw vote and
Let's come back
a
up.
straw poll, and Kamala won.
Then
by-
Guam.
And
Because all
Guam.
they have is
Coming up
straw.
now. This count's coming up
All
a
right,
little
all right,
bit.
all right,
And
so,
you're at
listen.
177,000
bricks
vote
there,
lead.
yeah.
That would be a blowout. Anything in triple digits. In
They don't
North
even
Carolina.
have the internet in Guam, probably.
4 years
No,
ago,
they have
the
bamboo
closest
and
of
fish.
the battleground states Trump carried 74,000 votes then. You see how close it was. 50.
Guam, what do you got? Bamboo and fish.
The Blues.
Probably some good ass surfing, though. You know what?
except for this
maybe.
one, out
Yeah,
here, I
maybe.
believe.
I don't know.
All right.
I ain't
Here's
going
North
there.
Carolina. Here's North Carolina.
I'd
If
rather
you
go
go
to
back
Samoa.
in time,
Get
that
big
was a
Samoa
Republican
bitch.
county.
Let's go.
And look out.
Let's go North Carolina as a complete state. Give it to me now. Give it to me.
This is an area of the state
Georgia's a wrap.
that was hit hardest by Hurricane Helene, and the state and the county officials and the
They're
local
mad.
officials, God bless them. They did amazing things just so people could vote. I know the more important things are: can you live? Can you get housing? Can you get food? Can you get water? And things like that. But the fact that people are voting out.
All right, North Carolina 51.9 to 47.
Wow.
63% reporting.
Information out there.
I think, Lummy, I think that's a lock in for Trump.
This is where it matters most if you are the Democrats. And only 14% of the
Where's all my NASCAR white guys at in Charlotte?
Carolina. But you see only 14% of the vote in Mecklenburg County, which tells you let's just take this for a while.
Let's burn our time out.
And
Is
see what
Mosh
happens
here?
as we go. It's 11% of the statewide population.
Who?
Much.
60% right now. So you go back in time.
You looking at a superset, some fucking biceps?
Boogie 1122.
No,
$20.
because I had a
Lost
FEMA
North
story. I didn't
Carolina,
want to say it if he was here.
67% of the vote in Mecklenburg County. She, at the moment, is getting 60% of the vote. Is that meaningful? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. It would be meaningful if we end up there.
I got to go back over to Fox, Lummy.
Brett and Martha, back to you.
Okay, great.
Brady, thank you very much.
There's some Democrats saying North Carolina is on the edge. I don't think they're fully agreeing with Sean, and they
North
still
Carolina?
and they still may make T-shirts. But
is Sean locking on North Carolina in?
Carolina. I am saying North Carolina and Georgia will go Donald Trump tonight.
Okay.
I am as confident.
And Sean Hannity.
As any I've ever
Yeah,
been.
he's a little biased.
Okay.
Very biased.
Bill Hemmer tracking that. Are we backing that up on the
And
wall?
we're not. And we're not. Please.
Sean,
He's tossing
if
the
in
Trump
the end you're
salad.
right
I mean,
about
he's-
that here in North Carolina, I showed you this
He's doing more
county
than
last
S&D.
hour, right?
All right,
This is
so
Thompson
the insurrection.
County.
Here we go.
Up to 47% African American population. Sometimes in these elections where you see an outcome, you're like, that hasn't happened in 100 years. Well, something just happened for the first time since 1876 in North Carolina, and a Republican won this county for the second time since the 1870s. So I just like something to stick in the back of your head and think about, well, that was a data point along the way. You guys mentioned the blue wall. Let's go ahead. We're moving toward the central time zone. We're talking about Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I can show you a lot of stuff right now, okay? But this is anecdotal stuff. It's just the data points that I'm seeing on the map, okay? When you go to Wisconsin, all right, you have to look at Dane County. It's the University of Wisconsin. In the midterms, they had more than 85% voter.
Robert, they take Robert Kennedy off the fucking ballot like you asked them to, and Donald, it could change the outcome of the election.
Margins, but I was poking through this and looking at Milwaukee. Now, there's a lot of votes out there, okay? You only got 25% coming in right now. Kamala Harris has almost 66%. So this is where Joe Biden finished. Same county, same city 4 years ago. He was almost at 70%. Right now, she is underperforming in Milwaukee. So you have to ask yourself, that little pattern you saw back there in that rural county in North Carolina, is it repeating itself in some of these bigger cities? Is Detroit, right now, Detroit, Wayne County is red. We don't expect it to stay that way, but that's one of the things you look at as well. And this is Washtenaw County. That's Ann Arbor, University of Michigan.
That's where Brian was talking about.
That's another county to watch as well. And then let's flip over here and just complete the...
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Because this is where we are.
Oh, look how it's getting close.
The mail vote, heavily Democratic, is put out first. And we still think we're probably seeing a lot of that right now in this composition. But let's go ahead and look now. Let's look at the vote difference in Pennsylvania.
Here now, $20.
And what we've done here is we've gone back to the year 2000, okay? So you have 6 presidential
They called
races
New
to look
Hampshire
at.
for Kamala.
For so long, this was not even a battleground. It was heavily Democratic. When you think about what Barack Obama did in 2008, Look at that. I mean, that's 10 points. It's off the map.
They called
Romney
who?
was able to cut it
New
in
Hampshire.
half, and so
Okay.
the state came back a little bit toward the Republican Party. It really wasn't until 2016 when Donald Trump won the state by just less than a point. Let's look at the vote difference now for Michigan. Very similar, maybe not as extended, okay? Some would argue more Democratic in Michigan, all right? But that was the difference in 2016 for Trump, 0.2 percentage points, you know? And you see where Obama was. That was not contested. Look at the vote difference now in Wisconsin. Very similar. Blue, but not nearly as
Dustin,
extreme. In fact, if you take out the
Thank you,
Obama
Dustin.
years in 08 and 2012, you find Wisconsin is, I find, guys, this to be the swingiest state you find out there, all right? Back in 2000.
John Kostika, $200. He said, my election party's still rolling on, my friend. The head of the Indiana Mafia. I love him.
It's just by a nose he was able to win. And then when it went back to Biden in 2020, again, it was super tight, okay? All those races, 4 out of 6 over the past 20 years have been decided by less than a point. And it might well be the case again tonight in the land of cheeseheads. Let's go ahead and clear this right now, okay?
Bill, can
Let's
we
clear
go
that.
to Wisconsin?
Yeah, we sure can.
Let's go to Wisconsin.
Go ahead.
If you want to see how this is shaping up,
Wisconsin's key.
I mentioned Dane a moment ago, and I also mentioned Milwaukee.
See,
Sean Duffy.
Dan, you take his 0.5 and add it to Trump.
State of Wisconsin.
Makes a big difference.
When he
Yeah.
ran for Congress, all this area here was blue. Okay.
And he begged to be pulled
when
from
he
the
went to
election, right?
Washington.
Bagged, and the Democrats wouldn't let him.
It's
You got
been
any
a
cold water up
source
there?
of
What's that?
You got any cold water up there?
Donald Trump, and we'll see whether or not that
You're
remains
such a
the
fucking indoor
case
dog.
right now. All right.
Some in the
So
fridge.
you know we're just about the 30% mark in Wisconsin, and Kamala Harris has
over.
a
You
slight
ready?
lead there by about
You
3
ready?
points.
Yeah.
This is where it ended, as I showed you out there on the map. Right, 20,682.
Yes, sir. Was it a
raw
good
votes
throw?
4 years ago. So if I were to come to 2024,
Better than Aaron Rodgers.
what am I looking at? I'm looking at Dane.
How about Sauk and Kenosha?
Yeah, Sauk is right here. Sauk is pretty interesting here because, you know,
What's the percentage of votes that are in? 47%. They're breaking down counties in Wisconsin. I need to see the overall, number.
half of the vote in here in Wisconsin. This is where it finished. I find that interesting.
What about
Don't
Kenosha?
you? Let's find Kenosha down.
So remember, this is the swingiest state. I mean, I spent some time there on
The
2
swingiest
recall
state.
elections
You
with
agree,
Governor
right?
Scott Walker.
I mean, it's
I was
extraordinary.
But it's only
and we
14%
don't think
of the
about
vote
it
right
that
now.
way.
So
But
then
it's true. Anyway, this is Kenosha, Brett. You asked for it. You got it.
Let's go over back to CNN. Let me see what the fuck they're doing.
Let's see what they
Oh,
updated
no, that's why
theirs.
we are here. We are watching.
They're still
the clock
stingy.
In just
Oh, look at
minutes.
Arizona.
Oh, they're back in
About
Georgia with the
8
fuckery that's
There's
going on.
Arizona.
We are hearing that
What's
the
that?
county
Is it Arizona?
will be
Oh, Arizona.
reporting its very
Carl
first
John James
batch
Byrne,
of
$10.
election results. 11 electoral votes on the line here out of Arizona. Maricopa County will give
William
us a strong
Schneider,
indication
200.
after that first drop, but it takes
Man,
a
we
long time to
killed it
count
tonight.
all of the ballots.
Killed
The
it.
first drop
Appreciate you guys appreciating us.
will be the early.
We're going to take us about 5 more minutes, see what we can get in 5 minutes. Hopefully, Lummy, we can get some clarification on
Maybe a couple
Virginia.
minutes after 10
Before
for the next
Election
poll.
Day.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
10,
like 10
10,
minutes,
10,
yeah.
10. We'll try to get out of here 10, 10, 10, 15.
Sense that we are.
Which, Lummy, is when I think we left last time.
Election
that, yeah.
officials we've spoken to here in Maricopa County.
North Carolina now, I think, is officially, you can call it Trump.
Are they saying it now?
Major,
Well, I mean,
major problems here in this
what's it-
county. Things
It's
have
52 to 46.
been
And
some
what
small
percentage?
issues here and there,
80%?
but overwhelmingly,
Yeah.
they say this has gone fairly well.
Let me see. I'm going to, well, nope. I have North Carolina. Seth told me to put North Carolina.
And they
Seth
are really
blurted it out.
looking forward to
North Carolina, Georgia, Trump.
No, Hannity.
keep
Hannity
that
Yeah, Sean
going.
Hannity came in.
Yeah, you were before Hannity, though.
I was.
We
I
are
said True
expecting to
Social
hear
called it. And
Exactly.
they're wrapping me up.
But Hannity was saying it with emotion. I don't know if he was saying it with data.
In Phoenix, Arizona.
You know, I
Well,
mean,
Seth was saying it with just his ball power.
Well, yeah,
From
yeah.
Nevada.
That's
David,
strong.
what do
Oh,
you
here goes Larry Bud Melvin again. Hold on.
The issues that they're focused
This
on.
guy. Super Fat Bubba Light's uncle.
Democracy and the economy are battling for that top spot.
Oh, we're going to get some information out of Nevada finally.
Jake, say democracy is the most important issue to their vote. 32%, basically the same. Say the economy
Let me. Virginia, they still haven't called Virginia yet, have
is
they?
the most
have not.
important Then that is followed by
They call
immigration
Nebraska
at 15%,
for Trump.
abortion
They
at
are?
11%.
Yeah, all of it.
and
All of
farm-
Nebraska. All of Nebraska's Trump.
Yes.
Not even a
Really?
little section?
Yeah, the whole section. That's what it's saying right now. All 5 votes going to Trump.
That's key because
Those are like one little extra vote.
They always had that one blue
digits.
going to her. They had it usually they break it down 4-1.
Better or worse than 4 years ago? A plurality, nearly half.
Stop
of
telling
Nevada
us some
voters.
shit. Let's go back over to fucking Fox real fast.
You want
It's
more
going to be
states to
an
get
area
called?
that is going to probably.
What's that?
Is it you want more states to get called? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
So we're getting close to 10 o'clock, right around the corner. That is when we will get poll closings in Utah, Montana, and Nevada. This is our special coverage kicks into high gear, and the electoral count continues to load in. 195 for Trump, 117
I got it at,
for Vice President Harris.
I got it at 227. I got it right now at 227 to 117.
Say 48% say it was worse than 4 years ago. It is worse today.
Let me continue to go through my Newsmax and see what Newsmax has done. Let me if it's changed. It's got all that. It's calling Iowa potentially for her.
Really?
Yeah, that's what and they got it at 210. Wow, they got it at 210 to 108. Newsmax does.
Than it was 4 years ago. Only.
Let me reset my CNN deal so Larry Bob Melman is up to speed here.
Left the scene. Donald Trump won it comfortably twice. The Harris lead is shrinking a little bit, but she's still ahead in Iowa, 51%.
Only 31% reporting.
If you look through, I said earlier we were at 83% in Polk County. We're still there. That's the bulk of your Democratic votes. You start moving down. You come over here to Cedar Rapids, which is Lynn County. You're only at 34% of the vote here. So there's some business to be done in terms of Democratic votes for the vice president in what is an interesting state. If this one is competitive, it would be a surprise. And election night surprises are always interesting. You see there Dubuque County there. We'll see how that one plays out as we go forward. So now let's come over to some of the bigger battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Again, if you're in the Harris campaign, especially because we're not done by any means. But if
Trump really pulled up in Pennsylvania, it's 49-49.
Come on.
Pennsylvania's 49 all.
We $76-20. Yes, sir.
A little more than a third of the vote counted in Wisconsin. Again, you see Trump filling in the rural areas. Just want to check. I teed this up earlier. Brown County.
Man, what if Trump fucking takes Pennsylvania and Wisconsin? That's going to be an ass whipping.
She's at 33%. We're only at 12%. So we have to do this a little bit later. But Joe Biden had 45%. So it's a key test of white, blue-collar workers. Can the vice president...
Green Bay, the only black people are the people that pay for the Packers.
The president was. At the moment, she is not. But
they lost one today, Preston Smith, for a 7th rounder to the Steelers.
Of any Democratic victories down here in Milwaukee. We're almost at half the vote right there. She's at 67% there. Let's just go back in time and look. The president was at 69.
She's down 2 points. She's down 2 clicks from when Sleepy Joe was.
Let's see. Right now, we're only at 48% of the vote. If at the end of the night she's underperforming the president in Milwaukee by a couple points, that can make the difference in a state, Jake, that in 2 elections in a row has been decided by 20,000 votes. Jake?
That's right, John. And we're just moments away from another round of poll closing.
12 seconds. We'll try to get these polls closed, Lummy, and then we're out of here, probably by 15 after.
Pennsylvania, Trump just took the lead, 49-51 to 49-58.
On the line right now.
But he did that last time, and then there was the fuckery in Philly. Remember the Philly fuck job?
In the state of Montana.
Montana and Utah. Montana and Utah. Montana and Utah.
Those are the polls that just closed, right?
Yeah, Montana and Utah. I think so. I think these are
they called him for Trump. And they just
Donald
closed.
Trump will win the state of Utah.
Just closed.
As expected, Utah
we got avalanche with
Nevada is too early
too early to call.
That Donald Trump has narrowly lost in the last 2 elections, but is making a big play.
What do we got here, Lummy? We got 232 to 117
for this election. Let's look at the electoral math right now. Donald Trump has 172 electoral votes. Kamala Harris with 81 electoral votes, 270 electoral votes needed to win. Neither of them is there yet. Let's look at the key races.
Here we go.
Pennsylvania, Kamala Harris, 49.9% of the vote. Donald Trump has narrowed her 20,000 plus vote lead.
43% reporting on Pennsylvania.
Come in from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. 43% of the estimated vote from Pennsylvania is in, and Kamala Harris right now.
Hopefully Brian will give us, maybe before we leave, Brian can give us a little brush up on all this latest data.
The vote, Donald Trump has 46.5% of the vote. Kamala Harris with a 46,000 plus vote lead. Still only 16% of the estimated vote in Michigan.
Michigan, you slow fuckers.
In battleground Wisconsin, Harris is at...
I think he wins Wisconsin.
The vote, Donald Trump
this is
is
a
at...
wrap.
I think
can't you just tell from how the rest of the country's going and how overwhelming it is that this is just going to be a blowout?
But it's the same thing that. But hold on, Seth. It was the exact same thing that happened to us in 2020.
It's a different time.
But it was the same, about the same time, 10:15. We were ready to leave, and he had these leads in these, and then the Fulton County fuck job came, the Philly fuck job came, the Milwaukee fuck job came. The Maricopa County fuck job came.
People wanted change. They wanted Trump out. They wanted Biden in. Now people want change. They want Harris and Biden out. They want Trump in, and they're showing it.
I know that, but these sleeper cells of blue urban areas, Fulton County, Georgia, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Michigan, Detroit, and Phoenix. We had this. We actually in 2020 left, Lummy, at the same time saying, "Fucking Donald Trump, president." Woke up, and they got these, 30 and 40 and 50,000 vote dumps, in various in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, and he lost.
No explanation.
But it's a surprise at the moment.
It looks like they're giving North Carolina to Trump.
Trump just
I think
votes
Seth
ahead
called that with Hannity. Let me see here.
Okay, did he?
Yeah.
Virginia, North Carolina.
Yeah.
State he carried quite comfortably by 8 points.
Let's go over to Fox before.
Obviously could be key to the victory there. Both of these candidates.
Brian, call us if you're listening for a wrap-up, because we've gotten some latest data out of Wisconsin, Michigan, and it looks like it's a dead heat right now in Pennsylvania. So maybe before we say goodbye, we could get a last-minute Brian Petroni wrap-up. We really needed you here tonight. Of all days for you to have an anxiety with a pussy attack. And you did.
I mean, had a valid excuse last week.
But
this is bullshit.
This is kind of bullshit, Brian. fucking hypochondriac. Fuck.
And waiting on Georgia, waiting on North Carolina, waiting on Pennsylvania.
I mean, Fox has got it scored 205 to 117.
City vote, a lot of high population concentrated vote that has not come in yet.
I got
the question is whether or not that vote, when it does come in, will be enough to outbalance what we have seen in the early part of this vote here.
Montana, as we mentioned, also home to this pivotal Senate race. Longtime rural Democratic Senator John Tester in the political fight of his life this time. He survived it before, but this time Republican former Navy SEAL Tim Sheehy.
Let me text Brian, see if he can give us a last-minute wrap-up. Because we have gotten some additional information from Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is pretty much a dead heat now.
But in Utah, Fox News is projecting the Republican Congressman John.
We don't give a fuck about any of these people.
Senate, he succeeds retiring Senator Mitt Romney of Utah. Let's take a look at the balance of power we pull up the Senate here and show you where we are.
Oh, man.
One in the evening, Republicans now have 48 seats, including the West Virginia seat, which is a flip. Majority, obviously, would be 51. 38 seats on the Democratic side as we wait for a number of very consequential Senate races to come in here this evening.
Bubba, do you think if the Democrats take a complete, just ass whipping tonight, that they shift? But no, my question is, if they take an ass whipping, do you think they shift their policy a little bit?
They got, you know what?
Or do you think they double down?
Both parties need to shift their policy tonight. Both do.
So far tonight, the other
because the weed and the abortion loss in Florida really pisses me off. It's because of DeSantis, and he got so fucking extreme right on his second term, and again used campaign funds to rally against weed and abortion.
I thought I saw your boy Grady Judd going against the marijuana.
Well, of course he is. Of course he is. Grady would arrest his mom for speeding
with young voters in Michigan.
But I mean, taking the rights away from take the weed out of it, okay? Take making the right. I mean, that just shows you how bumfuck we are. That we still want to have draconian, antiquated, fucking not sustainable abortion laws in our state. That's bullshit.
The 50% to 48.
That if there's one of the two that pass, that's what I wanted to pass. Not that that's ever going to affect me. I got a vasectomy, but I'm just saying.
Dan, do you think illegal abortions could be a big business?
It would be a huge business, but it's,
you could also be in prison.
Well, I'm just saying, if we're looking to rebuild that carriage house quickly, I can get a few on the schedule. 6 to 8, we're back in business.
Flyers. He's going to go University of Tampa, not that far of a drive. Seth will even Uber you there.
It's going to be very tight.
An Uber and an abortion sounds like a pretty good deal for $255.
A Republican take that county in Florida since 1988. Donald Trump is doing something tonight. The New York Times is noticing he's up at 287 electoral votes projected. Obviously, anything can happen.
287, Lummy. That's what. Do you remember, Lummy, when I think I took a picture of it?
Yes.
And I think we have. I told you to save the audio of it. Try to find it for me tomorrow. I think I said 287. I think I did.
You can't really blame people for being a little bit concerned about the way we do reporting in elections.
Yeah.
I have more of a question, actually, for Laura, if that's okay, if it's permitted. On Loudoun County.
It's permitted. Yeah, you get your ass whipped.
County.
With your Amish tie.
What is the issue? Is it the economy? Or is
I got a question about your fucking tie.
She was press secretary. The cultural issues cut through the new immigrant population in Loudoun County. There's an enormous influx of Indian immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, and Muslim immigrants in Loudoun County. And if you talk to them, and some reporting has been done on this, a couple of issues of
Brian, call me so we can go home.
Some of the trans issues, but also in general, just this idea that the new immigrants coming to this country want to be able to start small businesses and make a decent living. I think both issues are really hitting hard tonight.
And we haven't spoken to him since he flatlined, right? I think it might be fertile ground for Democrats almost in perpetuity because of where it is. It's in the exurbs of Washington.
Look at that, man. They got Lummy. Newsmax got Wisconsin trending red and Pennsylvania trending red. Arizona trending blue. Arizona doesn't even fucking mean anything.
So if he wins 2 out of 3, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, he wins.
It's all
he has to do is one of the 3, right?
All he's got to win is Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and it's all over but the crying.
It's interesting to look at Virginia, and sometimes.
And look at Lummy. Remember, everybody thought I was a fucking idiot when I said New Mexico might be in play.
It's in play.
Close race, all about education, really, against Terry McAuliffe and parents' rights. But then in the midterms, Virginia did not get the seats that they wanted to get, and Youngkin was sort of trying to get them over that edge. So if
did they call the other Maine?
Can't call it obviously yet. If it turns into a win for Trump tonight, it will be a very big
or even
sign.
close. Even close.
No, we have not called North Carolina.
We have not called it yet, nor Georgia.
I'm sure there are good reasons for that, but others have.
I understand.
I think your fucking buddy Sean Hannity called it.
Easy, Brett Hume.
He's at the wall.
Fuck Brett Hume.
Yeah, easy, Brett Hume. We got this.
He's a mess.
You old fucking timer.
This is Roanoke
with a turkey gobbler.
How do I have that on the screen?
Here he goes. This is the one state I want to fucking get at. I want to close out.
Okay, so as you guys were talking here, all right. So this is part of our
61%
insights. Anytime we see an outline here, we go in Loudoun County. We've mentioned this, right? Now this is a 16-point advantage for Kamala Harris. You've almost got all the estimated vote in right now, and Trump's doing 3.4 points better now, with 98% of the vote reporting, than he did in 2020. So that's pretty interesting. The other thing I would point out while I'm here is Fairfax County. All right, so you're almost at 2/3 of the vote in. This is where all the people are, right? Number 1 out of 133. Biden was an easy winner at 70% of the vote. So right now, across from Washington, D.C., she's underperforming in the most populated county in the entire state. Did you have something else there?
Do you have a question?
Gotcha. No. Okay, Carolina. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, there you go. See, Sean Hannity was right. Lock it in, buddy. 68% in, 51-47. North Carolina's going to Donald Trump.
I tell you what I'll do here.
Man.
I'll cheat for a second here. Go back to Virginia. It seems as if Kamala Harris.
Now he's ahead in Virginia by what? 0.5.
13,000
And we'll see whether or not that ends up. Let me zip on down to Carolina. And Brett, I think you said some folks had called Carolina already. We've got about 70% of the vote in, and we've got Trump up.
4 points. 4 points.
Yeah,
right?
almost 5. 185,000 raw votes. And I don't know what's going on here. Why don't we just poke around some of the bigger counties, okay? This is
Why don't you just give me Virginia?
You got to look there. 3/4 of the vote in.
I'm giving it to you. This guy won't.
Mecklenburg and Charlotte. A firm lead yet again, but there's 80% of the estimated votes still yet to be tallied, so maybe that's the reason why we cannot call it. This is a flipper down here. This is New Hanover. You find Wilmington along the Atlantic shore. You've only got 5% of the vote in down there. This is one of those areas that
let me look at New Mexico, look at Pennsylvania, look at Wisconsin.
Northeast moving down into Wilmington. You also got a lot of folks from the Northeast going into places like Brunswick County. Brunswick County is deep in the red. Donald Trump's going to win here tonight by
4 years ago. So
66% upwards of the vote down there. Got a lot of folks from New Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania. They're moving down to places like Brunswick County because they love the weather, they love the beaches, and it's not as expensive as Florida. And they've seen an awful lot of growth in this part of the state. So here's where we are. Too soon to call, but Donald Trump right now up by almost 5 points.
Wow.
In Carolina.
It's not too soon to call.
Let's take a look at Pennsylvania, which is tightening considerably. And
we can't get Brian on the phone for the wrap up.
Show us what's going on there.
You're exactly right about that. Okay, so
Pennsylvania now he's a lead. Now he's leading.
I showed you a moment ago. The chart I showed you a moment ago. They count the mail-in vote first in Pennsylvania. It tends to be more Democratic, as we saw in 2020.
Remember at one time he was at 30%.
Yeah, he was nothing.
A 1.4 margin there. Raw votes just shy of 50,000. So
he was like 31.69.
Yeah. Philadelphia, let's start there. It is number 1.
Wow.
Let's go here. All right, here we go. This is the kind of margin you expect to get in Philadelphia. You got 8 or 9 out of 10 voters are Democratic, right?
Like North Philly.
So Joe Biden was well over 80%. It's interesting, right? So she's just a tick below that right now. Does Philadelphia vote the way that Milwaukee votes, right? We saw that difference in Milwaukee a short time ago. Is Philadelphia going to vote differently than Wayne County and Detroit? We're waiting to get that in as well. These are the collar counties. They're heavily blue. I would expect them to change somewhat, but we'll see as we go through the night. Just to check the bellwether here. This is Northampton. That's about as close as you get, guys. Difference of 300 votes.
He needs what?
The olive oil. It's made a difference for you,
Biden
buddy.
barely won it by 1,200 just 4 years ago. So that's where we are at the moment.
What about Pittsburgh?
Back on over to you, Allegheny.
Pennsylvania, 50.5 to 48.6.
Came in from Pittsburgh early on.
71,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
we're going to call it.
71 coming, that's right.
You
We're
call
out
it
of here.
Pennsylvania?
And she's at 61%.
We're out of here.
It's a wrap.
Both you guys watch
Hold
it,
on.
right? I mean,
This is
how
what
many
we're going to do.
45-47, baby.
I mean, do I
give up Michigan, call Wisconsin, Virginia, and Pennsylvania?
Let's do this.
No, give up Michigan.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
It's already over.
That.
You gave it Arizona
and that.
Take out Pennsylvania for a second.
It's a wrap.
Take out Pennsylvania. He still wins.
Still wins.
He still wins without Pennsylvania.
Yeah, still wins.
If he gets Virginia and North Carolina.
Hold on. Even take out. Hold on. Okay. Even take out. Yeah, he needs Virginia.
He is going to get Idaho, Bubba. I mean, that's 4 points.
Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. Where's Idaho?
Right there.
Does he always get Idaho?
Yeah.
Okay, so take that out.
Take out Pennsylvania again?
And then, hold on. Take out Virginia. Oh, nope. He needs that.
He needs that if he doesn't get Pennsylvania. If he gets Virginia, he doesn't need Pennsylvania.
Right. But I think he fucking gets them both. I really do. I think that's the way.
What if we look up tomorrow and Kamala's president?
Hold on. Let me, as I said, we're out of here, but I'm leaving that scream up.
There you go.
All night long, and we'll see how close we truly are when we get back here tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
God bless America.
God bless. I might as well play. Let me like they made you a little pussy caper.
Pussy caper.
I'll play a little pussy caper.
I feel more united than ever. Thank you, Mr. Trump.